and at LSU, and
she's from the great city of Wenatchee, Washington.
Yeah, she's a Northwest local.
I've been to Wenatchee, Washington multiple times.
I think I've driven through it.
It's not like an amazing town, but it is right on the river.
Mm-hmm. Pretty.
Ooh, I've got some more here for you, dude.
You got the Embiid? Yeah.
No Joel Embiid for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Due to his ankle and hip injuries, due to being a large man.
Yeah, due to being 400 pounds.
Yeah, due to being a large man. We'll get to that a little bit later today. But yeah, I was surprised to see that she's from Wenatchee. Not the coolest town in the world, but it is right on the water. And so you can find some cool things.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, she was kind of an NIL darling because she's the All-American blonde-haired, mildly attractive athlete that works out really well. You know, it makes money.
Yeah.
See, done, Livy.
She's hot though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like
like she's bona fide.
But you know what I mean. Like if you were, and look, they're dudes it works for. It's like if you're a good looking dude, you can make some money in NIL too. Tom's
braids. He could have made some nice NIL if he looked like he did now, and not like me when he was in college.
Yeah, I still want to know, like, where did he go to get the surgery for the butt chin?
Dude, it's everything he's done is perfect.
Like you get the dimple inserted. Like if I had a little chin dimple, chimple, if I had one of them, little chimple, I might drop the goatee then.
I think what's interesting with Tom's too is when you see him not on Fox, you're like, man, that's a good looking dude. But when he sits right next to KB about to do a game and he's like smiling, you're like, oh God, you're like a robot.
Oh yeah,
it's like freaky. It's
studio lighting. Studio lighting does that.
Exactly. Dare I say, Tom Brady and Sabrina Carpenter are the most AI real human beings in existence.
Yes. Yeah, you mentioned yesterday, we were talking about the Met Gala. Sabrina Carpenter looks like those robots that they have in Japan that are partners. You seen those? Like everything about them just looks fake and manufactured.
I'm with you again.
Yeah, it was just like there's something about her. I mean, you're like, is everything there?
Yeah, I don't know which one freaks me out, though. I think Tom might freak me out more between the two of them.
Yeah, no,
because
for sure.
I don't know what Sabrina Carpenter looks like not as an AI lady. I know what Tom looks like not as an AI dude.
Yeah, we saw him at Michigan. Just a very, you couldn't pick him out of a lineup, the most normal looking dude you've ever seen.
I'm pretty sure Sabrina Carpenter used to be, I want to say she was a Disney
She's a Disney kid.
She's a Disney kid.
Yeah, she's a Disney kid.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the thought yesterday, is that she is the most made in a lab superstar you could ever find in your entire life. Now, the interesting thing, like, I listen to her music because my girls listen to her music. I don't mind her music at all. Some of those songs are bangers. I think Espresso is a dope song.
They're very catchy.
And she seems really nice, but kind of edgy as well. It's just every time I see her, it's like, she looks, what's that horror movie with, like, the doll? It's like a more recent one, Meg.
Oh, yeah.
She, like, looks like that to me.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes I see her and I'm like, oh, you're kind of cute. And sometimes I'm like, you're kind of scary.
Yeah, no, I think it's the eye makeup. But, you know, we talk about the Disney pathway. That used to be, like, you were, God, I don't want to use this word, but groomed, air quotes, groomed to be a star.
Groomed before grooming had a sexual connotation to it.
But, like, the pathway was Disney. Like, people, do you know that Justin Timberlake was a Disney kid?
Ryan Gosling.
Like,
that was the Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, the reboot of the Mickey Mouse Club. Like,
that was him and Christina Aguilera.
Dude, if you go, it's not just those two. You go look at like a 5-year span of that show. It is basically like every star like out of that era came from that.
Brittany, Christina.
It's bonkers.
The next round is like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, there's
part of that.
There's a ton of people that came out of that. Like, it was just like they did pretty good on the whole, like, yeah, these people are really talented. Like, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, these are kids, and they were that talented. Like, before that, you probably had, like, what, Star Search?
Yeah, something like that. Or I think Phil Spector used to do stuff like that, although he's kind of a questionable character now.
The Star Search one that gets me...
Dick Clark, I think he was a big part of that, too.
Yeah. The Star Search one that gets me is Tiger Woods. Have you ever seen him on that?
I mean, I've seen all, like, when he does, like, the late night circuit
when he's a kid. He's like 5.
Mm-hmm. I've seen all that.
And you're like, oh, my God, What is that, dude?
Well, and then that's why it all went to S, because then parents realize...
It starts that young. Yeah, money train.
They can make their money off people, and then that becomes the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we don't do that as much anymore, only because social media just does it for them. Like you've got what's the baby Gronk and the Rizzler and like those kids creep me out.
Yeah.
Just creep me out.
That's my least favorite part of the internet.
I have to watch it for my 9-year-old because he will get sucked into all that. He already watches people playing video games, which I find really strange. And he'll always say like, "Oh, my favorite YouTuber," and I'm like, "Oh, that I bet you your favorite YouTuber is actually a giant POS."
Oh, you mean yeah, especially the young ones.
You're an adult that's making YouTube videos for kids.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
You know what's crazy?
Although when we were that age, it wasn't that weird.
Yeah,
Like,
But was Jim Henson a little bit of a weird guy?
well, you mean yeah,
but what kind of weird?
So is Cosby.
But just being odd?
Yeah.
Or are we trying to accuse him of other things?
Yeah, I mean, turns out a lot of those people were other things.
Mr. Rogers seems clean, and I will hear no slander about Mr. Rogers.
The best story about Mr. Rogers is like the wives' tale about him being like a world renowned sniper.
Yeah.
It's like, he wears long sleeves because he has tattoo sleeves on down both arms.
I thought is that Bob Ross?
No, that was the tale that kids used to say when I was a kid, at least. That Mr.
Okay.
Rogers was a Marine sniper in Vietnam.
Because I know.
'Cause I think he was a Marine.
and I've seen Bob Ross. He was like a fighter pilot, I think.
What was he? He was Air Force. Spent 20 years.
20, Mr. Rogers?
No, Bob Ross, but
Bob Ross.
he was enlisted. He was not a pilot.
Okay.
But he spent, I think, a big chunk of his career at Eielson in Alaska. But yeah, I think he worked in the medical field. That sounds right.
The claim that Fred Rogers had tattoos or was a Navy SEAL are entirely false.
Yes.
Urban legends.
Yeah.
0 tattoos on his arms or body.
But that was always a fun one. Like the nicest guy next door was actually had full sleeve tattoos, especially in an era where sleeve tattoos did not really exist.
No. That's why I can't wait to get old. And I'm hanging out at the old folks' home and we're eating cheeseburgers and Mountain Dew and watching The Office and playing Call of Duty and we're all tatted up. I can't wait, dude. It's going to be so great. Going to the hot tub that night and you're like, dude, your ink is really held up. Oh, yeah, I got this 62 years ago.
I will say, old folks' homes in the future sound very fun.
They're going to be kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie.
I think they're going to be fantastic.
It was weird.
Venereal diseases be damned.
Yeah, that's a lot. I was, what's crazy? I was talking to my girlfriend. I was saying about like a month ago, and I had the realization that the tattoos on my back are almost as old as you. The tattoos on my back are 22 years old, and I was just like, "Holy crap, that's a bit much."
Yeah, it's old ink, man.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. I was just like, why do I have tattoos older than people that I work with?
Yeah, I mean, I have my tattoo's older than 2 of my kids.
Right. When did you get your sleeve?
15?
Yeah. So, all of your kids.
No, I've got a 13-year-old.
But the tattoo's 15 years old.
Tattoo from 2015.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the tattoo is 15 years old.
No,
Okay.
no. Sorry, 2015.
Gotcha.
Yep. It is. I can't wait to get old.
Yeah, mine's from 2003.
Yeah, I never really wanted tattoos. Well, when I was an actor for a long time.
I'm 01.
Dog.
When I was an actor for a long time, I always wanted a clean slate. Like, I never wanted to go into an audition and it'd be like, say the 3 of us are going for the same role and the director's like, I don't care, guys, pick one. And then somebody's like, well, that guy's got tattoos. I don't want to cover them up. That guy's got piercings. I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to go with the guy that's clean slate. So I ran clean for a long time. I still have no piercings. I don't wear jewelry outside of my wedding ring, but I do have a sleeve.
I mean, I always dabbled, but I even like with the tattoo that I got a couple months ago, like I was going to take it down a little bit further, and I still might. God, I still need to get this finished. But there's like that's kind of ingrained in me of like not because of the perception. Even now that things are so different, I'm hesitant to get like a full sleeve.
I gotta have you guys help me out with my ideas for my first tattoo.
Okay.
Because my brother, he officially got his. He's got 3 now, but he's getting a bunch done. I need to get 1.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Daffy Duck.
Daffy Duck. Okay, we going butt cheek.
No, because
okay.
that would be a Sylvester tattoo.
There you go.
Wow. I've got the one sleeve, and I call it one tattoo. Is that fair?
Oh yeah, no. If it's
Okay.
all one,
It's all
for sure,
one.
Yeah,
It's just
Look,
one
If
tattoo.
it's one art piece,
Yeah,
again,
no. I've got the lions on each shoulder blade, but they were done at the same time.
Oh, those are two. They're not connected.
But it's one session.
But they're not connected.
But it's one.
Like this
tattoo.
is all connected.
Okay, I call it I call it one tattoo. I say I've got two, or I said I had two. Now I have three, because I've got the thing in the middle of my back, and then the lions, and then now this one, and then I'm gonna get one more at least on this arm, because now every time I walk by a mirror and I see one bare arm, I'm like, that looks weird.
You get used to it.
I haven't yet.
Although I do want my other sleeve done, and my wife will leave me if I do.
Oh, see, my lady's pro tattoo,
So I'm
good.
gonna. I'd like to keep her. So
Yeah, that's smart.
this is what the body looks like. Just getting fatter or skinnier. What will time tell? Tune in tomorrow's episode.
Where's the money line on that?
Large. Oakley Dokley, we got a great show for you all today. A lot to get to today. NBA player polls came out. We'll get to that in the big nooner today. We'll dance around a little bit of football, a little hockey, and hour number deuce. But let's start with last night's basketball games. The second round, is underway. OKC handles business against the Lakers. Is there any fight in the Lakers on this series? We'll start there. Portland Sports Leader 105.1 The Fan.
The new home.
10:20 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it, baby. We are alive from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge. 503-864-6326. That's the fan text line. She'll let you interact with us throughout the entire day. You can also join us over on the YouTubes. 105.1 The Fan is the channel. Jump in the chat and be nice to each other over there, okay? A lot to get to this hour. We'll talk a lot of basketball games. I want to ask a question because I am worried about the second round here in comparison to what we just went through. But let's start here as the Oklahoma City Thunder defeat the Los Angeles Lakers last night, Danny. And I think if you're a Laker fan or if you're a Laker player, and I tell you that SGA has 18 points and 7 turnovers, you probably feel really good about your chances.
Yeah, you would, except for Chet Holmgren decided to play one of his best playoff games.
24 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks.
I mean, the one play stood out. The one play, if you didn't watch the game, DeAndre Ayton was rolling, was 5 of 5, was kind of cooking in that in-between spot, little pull-ups, little floaters and finishes. He goes to pull one at like 9, 10 feet. Chet Holmgren just palms it, throws it out, turns into a break. Isaiah Hartenstein grabs it, throws it up at the rim, and Chet Holmgren just dunks it home. And you're like, that's the guy that everybody thinks should show up.
And I don't want to get too far ahead of our skis, but that's the juicy matchup with OKC and San Antonio if that's what goes down. Because if Chet plays like that, that team is super dynamic. And that's the brilliancy of how that team has been built.
Yep.
A lot of luck.
For sure.
I don't think if the Clippers knew SGA was going to be SGA, he ain't in Oklahoma City.
They aren't giving him up.
No, not even for Paul George. No. So there is a little bit of luck there. You get Chet Holmgren, number 2 overall. You land J-Dub as well, and you've got a nice, solid team. Hartenstein is a great center to have down low.
He's a great player around him.
When you have a dynamic guy like Chet, you can play at the 4.
Yes.
The real question to me as the Thunder defeat the Lakers 108-90, the Lakers can't shoot threes. That's the struggle for them. They were 33% last night. As much as everybody's doing their best, Austin Reeves was terrible. We'll just get that out of the way.
Straight buns.
Just rough. But I mean, it's his third game back in a month. So I give him a little leeway there. This team, for being a second-round team, is maybe one of the worst second-round teams of all of them. Without Luka.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. With that caveat. Here's the thing.
LeBron's 12 of 17, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 27 points, only 2 turnovers.
LeBron was good.
That's really good, LeBron James.
Here's the thing. If this, and this is, you have to remember, this is home game for OKC. They held serve. I thought the Lakers were fine. I thought the things they did were fine. They just couldn't hit their threes, and that's what has been like. That was why they just absolutely hammered the first round. Look, Houston got forces the series to go back, but those first 3 games, that was Rui and Kennard not missing at all. Like they were just absolutely, and Marcus Smart was hitting shots.
Meanwhile, Houston was collapsing in front of our eyes internally.
For the Lakers, if they're going to have a chance in this series, they have to knock down threes. Mm-hmm. If you're going to beat the Spurs or the Thunder, you have to knock down threes because they're so good defensively in and around the Spurs, especially at the rim. But the Thunder are the best team in the league defending going to the rim, if that makes sense. Like they have so many guys that when they collapse, they get so many tips, steals, and deflections. They have so many guys that can hedge and recover, that can dart back, that can, whether it's Kaysen Wallace, whether it's Lou Dort, whether it's Alex Caruso, J-Dub when he's healthy. Go down the list. AJ Mitchell. AJ Mitchell was awesome last night. Awesome. I don't even have to look at the box score and just go, man, AJ's energy, his defense, his tenacity, his hustle, like they have like 7 of those guys. That's what's so damned irritating about that team is that it was like, Mark Daniel's a great coach. I'm like, sure, he's a really good coach. They also have an incredible roster.
Coaching doesn't mean anything.
I mean,
means nothing.
It means something, but we were having this discussion before the show. I'm like, it's weird. Boston Celtics got upset in the first round. They had a storybook season. I haven't heard a peep about Joe Mazzulla choking in the playoffs.
Because he's got a chip, man, and everybody likes him.
But you lost to the 76ers, who this dog water team. And you're like, oh, you got Joel Embiid back. It's like, look, Embiid was good, but let's not kid ourselves here. You choked. You were the 2 seed. How did you lose to that team? Why did you not make the adjustments to take care of that sad sack 76ers team?
I can't live in that world because if they're all healthy, 4 guys on the court for Sixers might be better than the 4 best players on the court for Boston.
Well, then why didn't you coach?
Joel Embiid,
why
Paul
didn't you
George,
coach it out?
Maxey, and VJ.
Is Nick Nurse a better coach than Joe Mazzulla?
I could maybe sit in here and have that argument with you.
I think a lot of people would be very mad at you.
I think they would. Well, Nick Nurse has become not very likable.
Well, yeah.
In Toronto, he was the belle of the ball.
Well, here's the thing. Even in Toronto, he wasn't real likable. Nick Nurse is a great tactician.
He is a grade A red ass.
Yes, he is prickly.
Yes.
Prickly.
And I think because people aren't watching Toronto a whole lot, you're looking at him and being like, dude, look what this guy did with Toronto. Add Kawhi Leonard, boom, you beat the Warriors and win a title. Everybody wants Nick Nurse. When Nick Nurse got fired out of Toronto, it's like, why are you firing him? Everybody wants him. It's like, well, because he's kind of a D.
Yeah, everybody, when he got fired, everybody knew why.
Yeah.
Everybody knew why. It was like, this isn't going well.
And I think J.J. Redick is in that same kind of spot here with the Lakers. It's like, well, they can't shoot threes, so maybe you got to adjust the game plan. It's like, no, man, J.J. knows what his team can do. And the unfortunate reality, as much as it drives me crazy in the NBA, is whether you're a good three-point shooting team, a mediocre three-point shooting team, or a Buns three-point shooting team, looking at you, Trailblazers, if you are in a position and the game plan is, take the Spurs, for example, who collapse the lane there, you have to chuck threes.
You have to open them up.
And if you're not making them, you have to keep chucking them. That drives me absolutely bonkers, but I'm starting to understand that the league, whether I like it or not, are going to do it anyway.
Because you have to.
I don't know what J.J. Redick is supposed to do in this series because the Lakers just look outmatched. The Thunder...
Without Luka, they don't like... Because Luka is OKC kryptonite. Because as good as they are with all of that guard play, and this is kind of the same thing with the Spurs. OKC and San Antonio. J-Dub is the closest thing that the Thunder have to that kind of big, strong power wing. And even then, he's not that 6'8", like, bowl you over guy. Don't get me wrong, he's strong. He's incredibly good defensively, but what is he right now? Injured. So they can't pull that lever. Lou Dort, one of the biggest, strongest dudes in the league, and he can make Luka work. Nobody stops Luka. And LeBron. Nobody stops. They're gonna get theirs. But Austin Reeves is not at the level yet where he can just flip a switch and go, I'm going to get you 30, and I'm going to bend a defense the entire night.
They asked LeBron James what's going to be the cure to scoring was, and he goes, well, we have a player that averages 37.
Yeah.
And just kind of left it at that. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of points to be missed.
Yeah, and it's like what he like. Remember, that Thunder team 2 years ago, what Luka did to them. Dog walked them.
And I think the Thunder team last night didn't have a very good game, and they won by 18. Yeah. 108-90. They're going to be tough, man.
Oh, they are. They're a really good team, and I really wish. I hate the Lakers, but I want Luka in this series because I want good basketball. Like I want this Thunder team to be tested. Yeah, I want this thing to go.
Joel Embiid drives me crazy, but it's better if he's healthy.
Yeah.
Paul George, late career Paul George drives me crazy, but I'd rather have him on the court.
You want him
than
on
not.
the floor, man. Yeah. Like you want those games to actually mean something. You want it to matter. Meanwhile, flip it over in the Eastern Conference side, and old Jim Harden.
Yeah, let's go there next. The Pistons survive, and the Cavs, they made a run at it, but I don't know if this is going to work, buddy. And I don't want to tell you I told you so, but I think anyone with a pulse or a brain could tell you I told you so. We'll go there next. There's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This SportsCenter update is brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, some NBA playoff updates for you as the Pistons took game 1 of the series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Cade Cunningham led the way for Detroit as he finished with 23-7-3, playing 42 minutes in the contest. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated LeBron and the Lakers 108-90 as Chet Holmgren. He led the way for the Thunder, finishing with 24 points, 12 boards, and 3 blocks as OKC took home Game 1 in the series. We have 2 Game 2 matchups slated for tonight as the Knicks hope to extend their series lead, facing off against the 76ers at 4 p.m. today. The Sixers will be without Joel Embiid for Game 2 as he suffers ankle and hip injuries. And in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves will take on the Spurs tonight at 6:30 as both Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu come into the contest as questionable. Finally, some MLB news for you as Houston Astros infielder Carlos Correa has suffered a torn tendon in his left ankle and he will undergo season-ending surgery. Correa told reporters that he suffered a complete tear while taking swings in batting practice, and his estimated recovery time could take up to 6 to 8 months. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of dirt and spray.
I'll ask the question here coming up about this round of the NBA playoffs versus the last round. For Daddy over here is quite concerned, my friends, quite concerned. But there was another game going on last night that I'm glad I didn't turn off because I was about to turn off. The Detroit Pistons hand the Cavaliers the first loss in that game, 111-101. It was an interesting game because Cleveland started to make a little bit of a comeback, a little too late.
Yeah, they were down 18.
It was nice to see, my biggest takeaway from the game, and we'll make fun of James Harden in a moment, my biggest takeaway from the game, honestly, Danny, and I'm curious your thought, Detroit looked comfortable for the first time this whole postseason.
And I picked Cleveland to win last night, even though I picked Detroit to win the series. It was one of those things where I was just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I need Detroit to look better. Now, I want to give them a lot of grace just because the Cade stuff is, coming off a collapsed lung. It's going to take them a little while to kind of figure some things out. Jalen Duren, who's been in the playoffs before and has looked good, was not good in a lot of that first round. I'm like, Jalen, I need you to show up, big dog. Like, you were supposed to be one of the, like, very, very reminiscent to Donovan. Like, where are you, big man? Like, we've forecasted this a lot, the whole idea of, like, what Team USA is going to look like in a couple of years. And it's like, it's probably some version of Evan Mobley, Jalen Duren, Donovan Clingan, Walker Kessler. Like, that's the group of bigs that you're looking at.
Chet to an extent.
Chet, yes,
yeah.
No, the Chet is also very firmly in that. Like, that's the group that you're looking at.
But I think you're talking like defensive valued rebound crasher big men, which I wouldn't put Chet in that
exactly.
category.
Like, I put Mobley in there just because he's the defensive player of the year.
Yes,
he's that good. Like, Chet being on that list still bothers me. Anyways.
Mobley might play a 4, but he very much plays like a 5 sometimes.
Yes, he's not going to get absolutely hammered.
No.
So, but you look at Mobley last night, he was just fine. Jared Allen, foul trouble, and then no impact at all. But you look at the Pistons last night, and you got efficiency from Asar Thompson. When he goes 4 of 6 and is able to get to the free throw line and knock down some free throws and not turn the ball over like crazy, and you get Cade, who gets to the line to make up for his inefficiency, you just kind of look up and down the roster like, oh, hey, Tobias Harris, hey, Duncan Robinson. Jalen Duren goes out there and doesn't give you this massive production, but he holds it down. What was missing for them in that first round was the three-point shooting. Duncan Robinson, you are literally getting paid to rain threes. Thank you for showing up.
I think a lot of it, too, with Detroit, what made me feel good about them last night, and that's the question I'll ask you as well, Danny, is when I watched Detroit against Orlando, okay, we have said on this show, and we have said to each other off air, Orlando's one of the better 8 seeds from a roster construction standpoint I've seen in a long time.
And they're difficult to deal with because they're just big as heck.
Mm-hmm. And so that proves its own interesting challenge. However, Detroit maybe looked rusty, not cohesive. Cade's been out for a while. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get that mojo back together to where last night it looked like, okay, we had the scare, we got through it, we put all hands on deck, and we made it through this Magic series. Now we've got a little more confidence, a little more reps in, and now we can go back to playing our basketball. That's what I meant about them looking very comfortable last night. Cleveland's a better team than the Magic, in my opinion.
Oh, God, yes.
I think they're a much better team. I think they're better coached. Case in point, Orlando doesn't have a coach right now. So there's a lot of aspects to where Detroit is looking better against Cleveland than they did against the Magic. Is it Detroit is more comfortable now with the series in their belt, or is it maybe Cleveland isn't ready?
Well, if Cleveland's not ready, you want to talk about an atomic bomb that's going to get set off in the NBA? Brother, everybody's preparing. Look, Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be the domino that falls that kind of decides this summer. Donovan Mitchell might get moved. Like, that might happen.
And what's interesting is the swing they took to put them over the edge is James Harden, and the ghosts of the playoffs have returned for James Harden. Just inefficient. He's like the guy on the playground when you're playing basketball that doesn't do anything and just stands and goes, pass me the ball. And it's like, why, dude? You aren't doing anything.
There is no player in modern NBA history who has a more damning stat in the playoffs for me than Jim Harden. He's Jim. In the playoffs, he's Jim. He now has 29 career playoff games with more turnovers than made shots. I brought this up in the first series.
Most guys in the playoffs right now don't have 29 games, period.
Yes. So he's there. And remember, he also holds the NBA record for most turnovers in a game, and it was in a game 7, 14. That is crapping your pants on a level that I just can't fathom. He had 7 turnovers last night. Bro,
and 6 made shots.
What do you... I don't understand. James Harden is one of the best pick and roll and isolation scorers in the history of the game.
Dude, he changed the rules to allow you to take 3 steps for a step-back jumper.
Steph Curry impacted the game on a larger level.
Oh, totally.
But if you want to talk about impact to... I can't remember who it was. It was on one of the NBA podcasts, and I think it was Shumpert. It was Shump that brought it up. Yeah, right?
It was Shumpert.
And look, Iman Shumpert's a different cat, but he's damn smart when he talks about the game. And he goes, if you want to talk about Steph, you want to give him his flowers? Absolutely. Look at every single lead creator in the NBA in the last decade.
Tween cross.
Everyone has the same bag.
Tween cross.
Everyone.
That's all Harden.
And it's all Harden.
That's when you take the step forward like you're going to drive, but then you step back and hit the shot.
It's an in and out, hezzy, hang it up there, cross between the legs. Watch every single creator in the league, every single one of them, not named LeBron James, only because Braun comes from a different era. Every single one of them, they will start their package the same way. Watch Dame. Dame has the exact same move. Every single creator, and it's not just that. It's Harden's step back. Look at Dame's step back.
They both borderline on traveling.
But it's not just that.
And creating space.
They get their feet together, and you don't know which way they're going to go, and yet every single time they're going to go the same way. James Harden's going to go to the right. Dame's going to go to the left. Every single time they're going to do it, and they do it religiously.
The YouTube is asking, why is Harden choking? Is it pressure or he just doesn't care?
I don't think it's a not care thing. I think he just doesn't have the gene. And you have these...
Doesn't have the kill switch.
We did this with Peyton Manning until he figured it out.
Truth.
Like, people forget, like, Peyton couldn't get over that hump.
I'll say it again. The guy that I brought up last time I was on, Kyle Lowry in the playoffs is gross.
Mm-hmm. But that one year he got over the hump.
Yep.
I will give you another one in baseball. Alex Rodriguez in the playoffs is gross.
That's why you needed Robbie.
The one time Alex Rodriguez was good in the playoffs, they won a World Series.
Weird. You know, here.
And who led them in RBIs?
I don't know. Is it Robbie Cano?
Robbie Cano.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Hideki Matsui or not.
So here's the crazy thing.
That was a good team.
Do you know what Harden averaged in Houston during the playoffs?
Averaged in Houston during the playoffs, I'll go 26.
28, 7, and 6.
In the playoffs?
In the playoffs. But here's the difference. 42, 32, 87. Efficiencies just went in the tank.
Well, if you look at last night, if you look at the stat line for him last night, he's got 22 points because he went to the free throw line almost 10 times.
But that's
the inflated stats of the NBA these days.
But it's not just that. Like, he gets to the free throw line. That's what he does. He is one of the best at it. And here's the insane thing. When he was in Houston, he averaged 9 free throws a game in the playoffs.
But that's the name of the game these days. You heard Donovan Mitchell at the end of the game bitching about not going to the free throw line, and he's like, I don't flop. That's not my game. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to get into who's flopping and who's not, but it's the most inflated stat. You can't look at points in a box score anymore. You can't, because James Harden last night was not good. You're like, what do you mean not good? He had 22 and 8 and 7. And it's like 22. I mean, 9 of those are from the free throw line. And there are different metrics. You know, if you want to talk about SGA getting to the line, Denny Avdia getting to the line, James Harden, a lot of those are not the same.
But it
is an inflated stat about how
See, I don't think it's an inflated stat.
Efficient you are.
No, but that's the whole thing. Is like, I don't care if you do it at the free throw line, at the 3-point line, or at the rim. I don't. Do you do it? Do you, because if everybody could get to the line, they would. I don't like the grifting, but there is, like, Denny Avdia figured out, like, I talked to players this whole year on visiting teams about Denny, and they were all like, yeah, he flops a little bit, but he goes, to a man, some version of, he's so big, he's so strong, he's gonna hit you, and he knows, because he's so strong, if he pulls that ball out there, watch him, every time he drives, he has figured out, if I put the ball out here, I know they're gonna reach for it. And he's so strong, it's not a rip through, he just pulls it up, and they get their hand in the cookie jar. But here's the thing, Denny also gets it poked away. Him and Cade Cunningham both, like, if you just take their box scores away and don't put pictures up next to them, they're very, very, very similar. And they have both figured out that if I'm a big, strong dude who goes to the rim and I hang that ball out there, more often than not, the math says, even in the playoffs, I'm going to get to the free throw line. What did Cade Cunningham do last night? How did he score his points? Oh, that's right. He was 9 of 11 from the free throw line. But what did he shoot? 6 of 19. You can cover up for bad shooting efficiency by getting the line and shooting 85%.
Because that'll keep your team in it without making it destructive.
And now you're shortening the game.
Yeah, because to Rufio's point on the YouTube, if you take out how many points off James Harden's turnovers turned into points for the other team,
bro,
that's basically your plus minus, is it not?
Yes, I mean, not only that, like it's not a direct correlation, but like it can be. Points off turnovers are going to kill you, but the ones that really kill you, and this is where James Harden does it all. It's not bad pass turnovers. Harden's an incredible passer.
Always has been.
Dude, incredible passer. You don't see him fire balls into the stands or like have, just badly accurately placed passes. He loses the ball. He gets it poked away. Like he'll do a drive and he'll go to flop and it'll just get ripped away. Or he'll dangle it out there and as tight a handle as he has, he gets a little loose sometimes and guys know that they can shoot that gap and go. And live ball turnovers, that's what kills you. Because possession counts are more limited in the playoffs, and if you give teams easy opportunities, I was listening to it this morning, the replay on the game, and I can't remember who was on the call, and they were talking about, I think the Pistons had something like, he had 7 turnovers, and I think 5 of them were live ball, and I think they turned into like 13 points. Like that's the game. Live ball turnovers, just flipping into points immediately, that will crush you every single time.
Everybody's played a game in the first round, and everybody's got different results, but I want to ask the question, everyone's played a game in the second round, excuse me if I can speak. I want to ask the question, are we seeing a worse product in the second round to start, or will it get better? That's next. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
Coming up in hour number deuce, we'll get to a little football. I want to chat a little hockey as well. For I am curious how this might have happened.
Little puck talk.
A little puck talk, but more the bouncy ball talk.
Hey, look, you got Blue Line Brandon, you got Power Play Patty.
Oh, okay. I'll take Power Line Patty.
Power Play.
Power Play Patty.
Power Line is a Goofy movie.
Oh, okay. Also, power lines are.
You like that pull? I saw that look.
That was a deep pull.
You can put it on the ball.
And we'll have web gems. This is the second web gems this week about somebody dying. Damn it. I don't want dead people.
Death gems.
I don't. Death jams. Not deaf jams,
There
but
you go.
death jams.
Death jams, just nothing but metal.
And we'll get into the NBA player polls and a little NFL as well in the big nooner. But I wanted to ask you this question, Danny. Everybody has played a game in the second round. And with the exception of Minnesota, San Antonio, everything has kind of been a little lackluster. We'll see about Knicks Sixers tonight. Well, with Embiid out, that makes that difficult.
But here's the thing. Getting into that, the whole idea of that is home teams are supposed to win.
Of course.
Like, first two games is typically it's going to go 2-0.
I agree. And then every once in a while you'll have a series that goes 1-1.
Yeah, we got Minnesota, San Antonio. So everybody's like, oh.
Blazers did that with San Antonio in the first round for them.
But if you get home after 2-0 and the road team goes 2-0, game 5, like typically game 4 and 5, that's where you get the juice in a series.
And I think my frustration more of it, as we're in the second round in comparison to the first round, is in theory the team matchups are getting better, right? Better teams survive, better teams advance. Nobody is out of the first round that should be here. Maybe you could argue Boston a little bit, but Philly...
I think you could argue that pretty heavily.
Yeah, but the Sixers in the end were the better team.
I don't think so.
No, you don't. It's Joe Mazzulla's coaching fault.
I think
Jaylen Brown bitching and whining too much.
I think they blew it. To be honest, I think you can't sit here and tout how good you were this season during the regular season and then go crap your pants like that.
I think Philly's a matchup nightmare for them, especially with a healthy
I think so
Embiid.
too.
What was the one thing that I said about Boston?
They don't have size.
Nemias Queta is not cutting it.
No, and they've got a lot of thoughts to do this offseason. But
Giannis going to Boston is number 1 on the prediction markets.
those should all be shut down. They're illegal and antitrust.
There you go.
So I'm just nervous that the second round is going to be more of the first round of just non-inspiring matchups, non-inspiring play, and maybe that's just something that I have to get over with sometimes when I think about basketball games. There is no way in the first round you should be losing, or in the first game of the second round, you should be losing by 18 points. Yet it's like 3 of the 4 series are blowouts in game 1.
See, I don't care about individual game scores. Do I want games to be closer? Certainly. I want series to be close because you don't care. There's no aggregate here.
Understood. But
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but
even if I get to game 6 and game 6 is entertaining, but the first 5 were a drag, then that's a lot of slogging through to finally get to a decent basketball game.
But it's not necessarily about.
And it hurts the sport.
I don't think it does.
No?
Because I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying. But here's the thing. You get dump trucked in game 1, but if you come out and you win game 2 and you win by 18, or let's use the Cleveland-Detroit series. Let's say Detroit just mops Cleveland the first 2 games. They go to Cleveland, and Cleveland mops them in the first 2 games. What does that tell you about the series? Damn, home court really means something here. At least it could. But then you get to game 5, and Cleveland wins on the road. Now you're going, wait. I thought Detroit was handling this. They beat them 2-0 at home. They gave them that work. Now all of a sudden, all the pressure's on Detroit back in Cleveland.
But if Detroit wins that, or if Cleveland wins that game on the road and they win by 15, I still don't have a good feel about it because once teams realize that they don't have it that night, they just pack it in and shut it down. There's not a lot of fight.
I don't think that's the case. I think you got fight from Cleveland last night. They were down 18, and then all of a sudden it's a 1-possession game.
I got some fight in a couple games from the Blazers against San Antonio.
Yeah, and they lost by 12, 13, 14. Sure. Like final scores in the NBA, like it's the average score is 5 points, the margin of victory. That's average across 1,000 games a year. Like you just go back. That's just the margin. But you get these fluctations. I don't think anybody's packing it up. Now, if you New York, Philly. That's packed up. Like that game's like if it gets out of control, they'll pack it up. That Atlanta, New York.
New York.
That's packed up. Like stuff happens. But game to game, unless there's no chance, like you're down 20 with 5 to go, they're going to fight. They're going to claw. They're going to like that Cleveland-Detroit game, the starters are out there late. They're trying to figure it out. Now, does it end up going your way? No, because you do have to live to fight another day. And it's not about how many you win by or how many you don't ever make. The Blazers win over the Spurs when Wemby goes out. But nobody's making an excuse for the Spurs or the Blazers. Because it does not matter what happened. All that matters is a win or a loss. And that's where I ultimately land is like, you may have just shot well that night. Or you may have shot poorly that night. Does that mean the game plan was buns? No. It means ball didn't go in hoop. And this is where you get to see the adjustments get made. And to be honest, when teams are close in the standings, and you like Cleveland and Detroit does this, and they have a solid win, I want to see what Cleveland does.
Especially when Detroit just had Cade Cunningham play 42 minutes last night. How does that impact the rest of the series? Mm-hmm. Especially when you're making it tough late in the game, forcing Cade to go play at those, all 42 minutes. How does that look in the end of the series in game 3 and 4?
And you're gonna pick up on things at the end of a game, because here's the other thing. Even if a game's not close, you may try something there and go, oh,
that set worked there.
We like that. We're gonna pocket that, and maybe we're gonna go to that a little bit more. If you're Detroit, what worked for us? What didn't work? What didn't work, and why didn't it work? Is it because the ball didn't go in the hoop? Is it because of something they did? Is it something that Cleveland did? Were they blitzing this particular kind of a set, or were they attacking at this point in the clock? Like this is where I don't hammer coaching during the regular season. Where I start looking at coaching is certainly significantly more in the playoffs.
Yeah, Joe Mazzulla.
But in all seriousness, like
Tiago Splitter.
Am I going to sit here and bang on Joe because the 76ers won? No. I don't think I think it's roster more than anything, but the fine tuning of things in the margins, because the thing that Finch is talking about and the Timberwolves players are talking about, they're all like, Rudy's getting goaltending and fouls and all those kind of things. So the refs are going to watch those kind of things for sure. That's probably going to change. You're probably going to see some change around that. But it's also,
got that on the sheet for tomorrow to talk about.
But it's also
how to officiate.
Mm-hmm, but it's also one of those things of like, if you're I heard the guys this morning talking about it, like, well, if Minnesota plays that way, and I'm like, guys, San Antonio didn't play great. Like, you got a really good game out of the Timberwolves, and you're asking them to do that more? I don't know, man. That to me, like, again, I'm a hoop psychopath, but like I'm looking at the adjustments for the winning teams, I think a lot of times more than just the losing teams.
How did the Timberwolves not get blown out by 30 tonight?
Yeah,
in San
like
Antonio?
The line is
exactly.
9.5.
Yeah, and you could bet it up to like 12.
Yeah, I'm like, I can see the Spurs, like if Wemby and Fox hit their shots, Finch is like, that's 8 points that we lost on those blocks. I'm like, Wemby goes 4 of 8 from 3.
It's over.
You lose.
Even with those 8 points.
So there's a lot of give and take on both sides.
Sixers, Knicks tonight at 4 o'clock. Timberwolves, San Antonio at 6:30. You can catch those on ESPN. We come back. Let's slide over into some college football. Some coaches weigh in on schedule. And could these be the savior that college football needs? Loaded hour number 2. 105.1 The Fan.
Hey, it's Suk for A&E.
From the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on this sports update is brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club. Good or bad weather, the golf course is always the driest around. Download the Langdon Farms app today to get all the latest news and specials. First on the Fan, some NBA playoff updates for you as the Pistons took game 1 of the series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Cade Cunningham led the way for Detroit as he finished with 23 points, 7 assists, and 3 boards, playing 42 minutes in the contest. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated LeBron and the Lakers 108-90 last night. Chet Holmgren leading the Thunder as he finished with 24 points, 12 boards, and 3 blocks as OKC takes Game 1 in the series. We have 2 Game 2 matchups slated for tonight as the Knicks hope to extend their series lead facing off against the 76ers at 4 p.m. today, as the Sixers will be without Joel Embiid, who has suffered ankle and hip injuries that will keep him sidelined for Game 2. And in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves will take on the Spurs tonight at 6:30 as both Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu come into the contest as questionable. Finally, some MLB news for you as Houston Astros infielder Carlos Correa has suffered a torn tendon in his left ankle and he will undergo season-ending surgery. Correa told reporters that he suffered a complete tear while taking swings in batting practice and his estimated recovery time could take up to 6 to 8 months. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy Hour.
Hour number 2 is here. If you're missing the first half, you can download that. First hour, you can download that. The Fan Podcast, 1051thefan.com. The Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts. If you missed Bobby Marks this morning, he was a great interview on Dirt and Sprague, especially if you're a Blazer fan, as he kind of shed a bunch of light on some stuff. So I'd go back and listen to that. If you can't catch Primetime Tonight Live or the Fan Happy Hour, you can catch those YouTube, the Odyssey app, wherever. 1051thefan.com. Rewind, fast forward. Except for in the future, for that would be impossible. This hour, we'll get to Web Gems as well. There's another NFL story we get to. Do you pick up year 5 contract? Because if you do, it might cost a lot of money for year 6. And maybe I need that tinfoil over there to make a hat for myself when it comes to the NHL lottery. Or maybe I'm grasping at straws. But this came across the timeline yesterday, Danny. I wanted to throw it your way. And no, you cannot vacillate. I'm trying to learn and put this number into this verbiage into my brain. But the American Football Coaches Association, they're recommending changes to the college football calendar, which, if you're an Oregon Duck fan, Dan Lanning has been screaming from the mountaintops about this, how things need to change. And I want to share with you what they have proposed for calendar changes. Ending conference championship games, reducing open weeks and seasons from 2 to 1, preserving an exclusive window for the Army-Navy game in December, but allowing postseason games to be played on the same day, and reducing the minimum number of days between games to no fewer than 6.
Okay.
I don't think I have an issue with any of these.
No.
Do we need 2 buys in a season?
The only this is where my bias is going to show. I think it's just mine. I think it's traditional rivalry bias. And again, USC Notre Dame's not really an issue right now because of that. But USC has been one of those teams that has 2 buys because they will play that early game, and then they have the double bye and start earlier. And there's some SEC teams that have done that too to make sure that they have those rivalries.
Yep.
That's, I think, the only thing that I squint at is how do you keep those rivalries pre-programmed? Do you know what I mean? That's where, like, if you're looking at the biggest programs in the country, when they do have a double bye, that's where it stems from.
Maybe would it benefit to force each team to choose the one rivalry they want to hold on to. And then if you've got...
Which is kind of what the SEC did with those pods.
And then if you've got secondary... Yeah, exactly. Then if you've got secondary ones, you can do them like every other year, so to say, like that. That might be helpful. Like if you're the Oregon Ducks, you're like, we want UW every single year. But then they're like, we'll take SC every other year, or Ohio State every other year.
But here's the one.
Because I think that's actually a budding rivalry.
The one for me, though, is like with like USC Notre Dame. It's not a conference rivalry.
No. But it is the rivalry.
It is like UCLA. Go away. I don't care about you. Notre Dame is the rivalry. Like, and if you're talking about in the SEC, yeah, you're going to have those. But do you have like Florida State? That's SEC ACC. Like so, like there's some of those that are out there.
And Notre Dame technically has Stanford as well. That's a big rivalry for Notre Dame as well.
Now they play on their own little world because they're special.
And they would choose USC if they had to choose between the two.
I mean, which one's generating you more revenue?
Exactly.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Where is Florida going to choose Florida State over Georgia? I don't know about that. Or Tennessee? I don't know about that.
That's the thing but that's the thing is I would want to protect that in some form or facet.
But couldn't
that's the one old fuddy-duddy thing that I'm kind of holding on to, the mild traditionalist in me.
Yeah, I think there are some that will get tricky, Florida, Tennessee, because that is conference, but that's your one you could have every other year. The Florida State one, look, it's like Wazoo and UW as well. I know UW doesn't look at that rivalry the same way that we do, but if it's a non-conference, bro, that's on you in your non-conference schedule. And in a world right now where you're trying to bolster, or at least we're trying to entice you to bolster your schedule, what if Florida and Florida State say, you know what, in the SEC, I'm the AD at Florida. In the SEC, I've decided our main rival we want every single year, our big game is against Georgia. That's the game we want every year. Now, on our own, adjacently, we play Florida State at the beginning of the year every year. You want to do that? Go for it. Now, all of a sudden, Florida's schedule every year starts off with two massive games.
Like it starts like it looked last season.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and then maybe you get lucky that you get Mississippi State and Kentucky and some of the lesser ones, and you're not running the gauntlet. But you do.
But then what the SEC other teams are going to say? Sucks to suck. That's your rivalry. Blah blah blah.
Totally.
But it's like, and that's where it gets a little. Again, I'm getting in the weeds of this. But number one, shortening that span at the end of the season. Blah.
That has to happen.
That has to happen. And as much as I don't want to necessarily get rid of conference title games, I like the idea of like
play-ins.
The quasi play-in, like the whole like resetting for the last game of the season and having that be kind of the quasi conference championship game. I like that.
Hey, you know who's doing that this year? The Pac-12.
No, this is where being smart and trying something different.
Go Beavers.
That's where it matters. Like, I think that's a good idea. I think that restructure. What the Big Ten and SEC will say is like, "Whoa, we already play at such a difficult schedule," and blah blah. Like, well, you were going to play a title game anyways if you're there. So why not just do it on the field and have it be the thing? They're going to want to protect their interests, and it has been interesting to kind of see like where this is coming from and who's kind of leading this, because this isn't Sankey. Like the SEC was out there. I think we're seeing a real changing of the guard. We talk about the SEC and it just means more. I don't know if you've seen this shift in not only the national media but even ESPN, which is really just short for SEC.
Long for SEC.
Yeah. The Big Ten is running things on all fronts.
Have you heard the quotes from Kirby Smart of late?
He said it out loud.
He did. The top of the Big Ten is better than the top of the SEC, and I don't think he's wrong. And
who are the last three national title winners?
Big Ten and the SEC, and the last three national championships are a Big Ten. And who's probably been the best team in the Big Ten without a national champion? It'd be Oregon. And so now you've got four bona fide studs, and if USC figures their S out, and that's a pretty big situation right there. That's five top. To where I will argue, you see the Vandies, sometimes South Carolina. Tennessee's always in the mix, although they were fraudulent last year. Ole Miss seems to be building something.
Texas.
A&M has got something going. Sark at Texas, et cetera, laying down at LSU. The depth is a lot bigger in the SEC, but the top of the top is not.
No. And that's going to be the interesting part.
I mean, Kirby's starting to say that like teams that I was a defensive coordinator for 10 plus years ago would boat race these teams right now is also a little bit of saying that out loud too, that I have to coach differently. I have to recruit differently.
Well, that's the thing is like, yeah, those teams that I was a defensive coordinator for, they were 3 deep everywhere.
Everywhere.
We've talked about this so much, the proliferation of talent it's the diaspora of talent, as it were, being spread out. Like you take a look at, I have my fun with USC having the number 1 recruiting class in the country last year. They're number 3 this year. Go look at who's number 1 right now. And again, we're very early in the cycle. It's Oklahoma.
Really? Mm-hmm. Brett Venables? I thought that guy was going to get fired.
Yeah, it's, you could, let me pull this up right now. CB recruiting, let me go 2027. It's Oklahoma, A&M, USC. Here's something that'll throw you for a loop. UCLA is number 4. The hire that they made, he has landed 7 4-stars already. And it's like, whoa. Turns out being in LA, useful. But just go down the list. And again, recruiting.
Got Maurice Jones-Drew's kid.
But go down the list here. It's Notre Dame, Florida, Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. Weird. At number 10, Kentucky. Now, again, that's volume on 3 stars, but UW, Louisville, Wisconsin, Texas, Miami, Texas Tech. It's like Georgia's at 18. Now they have 2 5-stars. But like again, this is early in the process, but it's just like you start spinning your wheels in this stuff. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? Virginia Tech is at number 20.
Wow. Franklin knows what he's doing over there. That's why that's such a home run hire.
But again, like, you take a look around the country, and to Kirby's point of like the team I was a D coordinator for, because you don't have the talent like you used to anymore, and it's spread out. And so let's see how this impacts. Let's shorten this thing up. Let's make sure teams are playing each other. And for the love of all that is holy, can we just get to the Super Conference already? Yeah,
no kidding. I did see ESPN put out an article about off-season grades so far per each team in the Power 4 conference. Mm-hmm. You should go look at the ACC and the SEC and go see where Tosh Lupoy and Kentucky are. Mm-hmm. Tosh Lupoy at Cal and why is his name escaping me? Will Stein. Mm-hmm. And Will Stein at Kentucky. Go see where they are on those lists. They're not number 1. But when you get to the ACC, you'll be surprised to see that Cal is having a quote-unquote better offseason than Florida State and Clemson and Duke, who won the conference last year.
And Duke's good.
Like, that'll tell you, like, Kirby might be able to walk in and slam the rings on the table and get a couple 5-stars. But you know what Will Stein and Tosh Lupoy know how to do? Build depth, find the diamonds in the rough.
Cal's number 21 in, again, early season recruiting.
But Cal hasn't been anything.
Cal, UCLA, and Kentucky. Yeah. All 3 new coaches. All 3 programs that were kind of not doing great.
Coordinators from Oregon who has recruited extremely well over the last few years. And we get where did he come from? South Florida?
God, what program would he come from? God bless.
James Madison?
Yeah, no, he came from Madison.
Yeah.
Because he took over for Sig.
I don't mean the Michael Jordan shrug, but I'm giving you the Michael Jordan shrug right now. Like,
here's the thing: every time we take a look at these new coaches and these changes, these proliferations around college football, you can just not do it, and it goes real bad. See Deshaun Foster.
Yes.
Like it went sideways real quick. Then you go take a look at the coaches that do go do this, have positive momentum. What ends up happening in those programs? They build on it. How many times do we see the positive momentum crash and burn? You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at that. I want to give Stein and Lupoy their flowers.
Chesney, yeah.
Yeah, like go do the damn thing. Mm-hmm. Like that is good for college football.
And if they can figure out the scheduling thing,
that to me that might be
those playoff games closer to each other.
The biggest piece of all of this that's going to kind of cement this is that. And again, coming back to it full circle, 40-team super conference. Just do it because that solves that problem for me.
And don't forget my Cougs. They're a valuable entry into that.
You still have time.
Still got time.
Tick, 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 tick.
If I could, because I can't, because they're in the state of Washington, I'd put money on Wazoo winning the Pac-12 this year. I would.
You can place that bet here?
No, I don't gamble.
You can place that bet here?
We'll ask Alex Brink close to the season what he thinks. When we come back, let's slide over to the NFL. A big decision is going to need to be made on a quarterback who doesn't have the best track record, but it might be your only option, the tough place that the Houston Texans are in. That's next on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM, 1080 AM. Hanging out in football, but we'll go to the professionals this time. A little more adults in the room, it feels like. Is college football the one big sport in America where the adults are the least adults in the room?
Probably.
The NBA probably has a little bit of that.
I mean, NBA's...
But I still think coaches and front offices are still adults.
No,
the players are not adults.
No, I'm telling you right now, the coaches and no. That's a whole nother
It
show.
makes me feel like college football has the most children running the show.
I think there's just more of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, there's, what was it,
100 something teams.
136 programs? Like, that's the thing is, if there was 136 NBA franchises, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. The numbers just inflate it.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans are in a championship window. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, a
They
championship
have a
window.
world-class defense.
They need to make a decision right now about C.J. Stroud. Whether or not to exercise that rookie option and have another year of cheap C.J. Stroud, or sign him long-term, or decide we're going to part ways and move along. I think they are in one of the most difficult situations of anybody this offseason in terms of where they go in that spot. Now, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, okay? Miami Dolphins, Malik Willis ain't your future. Might be a nice stopgap. Is Cam Ward good? I don't know. Is Trevor Lawrence good? I don't know. Does Drake May take another step? Does he take a step back? There are a lot of different questions for quarterbacks throughout the league. However, I don't think anybody is in a Super Bowl window more with a larger question at quarterback than the Houston Texans. Because Seattle, I don't think we realized, and we'll talk about Seattle in the Big Nooner, I don't think we realized how close they were to a Super Bowl window. And they just needed a quarterback. To where Houston, they're banging us in the face telling us, we get decent quarterback play, we go on a deep run.
I think that quarterback play is less of a question than you do, for me at least. I think that quarterback play is very, 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 very dependent on that offensive line. And that offensive line was a train wreck. C.J. Stroud is 28-18 as a starter.
28-18?
Through 3 years. He's completing 64% of his passes. He's got a better than 2-to-1 interception to turnover ratio. Or touchdown interception ratio. Excuse
Do
me.
you guys care to do a little thought experiment with me?
Sure.
I've got 3 quarterbacks for you.
Okay.
Quarterback number 1 cost $11 million against the salary cap, threw for 10,876 yards over 3 years, 64% completion, 62 touchdowns, 25 INTs. QB2, $46 million against the cap, 10,731 yards, so a difference about 130 yards, 65.8 completion percentage, 69 touchdowns, 27 interceptions. Who would you rather have?
Well, I know the first one's Stroud.
I think I like number 1.
First one's Stroud. Who's number 2? Is that Baker?
That'd be Justin Herbert.
Is it Herbert? Yeah.
Don't walk me into this. Don't walk me into this. How am I supposed to be a duck honk when I just took C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State guy?
What do both guys have issues with? Offensive lines.
Offensive line.
It's true.
Again, if you're telling, here's where it all comes into it. Am I paying C.J. Stroud $60 million? I don't like that.
Right.
If I'm paying C.J. Stroud 45 to 52,
You get that Brock Purdy deal?
you that's the thing is you give me that. What has Brock Purdy had his entire time as a quarterback for the Niners?
Talent and Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. I was just about to say Trent Williams.
and targets everywhere. Now, the targets around Stroud have been good, but they've been dead.
Right.
Whether it's Tank Dell, it's Nico Collins,
And
Dalton Schultz, they've all been dead.
CJ Stroud hasn't had a number 1 wide receiver play in a second playoff game.
No.
Now, while I think Houston is in a better window to win a title right now, the Chargers are in a better spot to have a better offensive line. They need some health, but they've also addressed it through the draft a lot more than Houston has.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
but
Houston did a really good job at addressing that
Yeah.
this offseason.
I think they have too.
But I'm also saying I think the Chargers did as well.
Oh, yeah, but they also had guys that just,
Correct.
both their tackles died.
Correct.
When Slater and
Yeah,
all both
Rashawn
get,
Slater and Joe Alt both go down.
yeah, when they're bookend monsters. Like you can are those when healthy are they both top 5 of their position?
I think
You can make the argument.
I think
so.
it-
If you're in that spot, yeah, you're pretty good.
another part of this situation is, what is C.J. Stroud going to ask for?
That becomes a question again.
Because I agree, if you can get C.J. Stroud at 45 a year and not 65 a year, I think you have to kick the tires on that because he's
Not even
shown
kick a
you.
tire. That's,
Yeah, I
here's
think
the
he's
pen, dog.
he's shown you that success. But if he wants, who keeps resetting the market?
Next quarterback up.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence reset the market. What is Jaden Daniels going to get? What is Caleb Williams going to get? Would you rather have Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or C.J. Stroud? That's an interesting question.
Not for me.
Both those guys are young. Caleb shows a giant upside. Jaden shows that he's hurt. But C.J. has shown to be a quality NFL quarterback. What does C.J. Stroud's agent value him versus what NFL GMs value him?
Look, in the NFL, it's always about getting your money because you never know when it's going to disappear. You never know what's going to happen to you. And I'm not. If he wants 60, I'm not going to begrudge him because that's what you do. But if he's willing to take less than the max because he sees what's around him and it goes, you know what's really nice? $60 million. You know what's even better? $50 million and not dying.
And a defense that can turn the ball over to give me a lot of shots in the red zone to make my stats
not even that.
great.
Makes my life easier. And hey, you can go spend money on interior offensive linemen so I'm not getting murdered.
Go the Tom Brady's route. Tom always had nice offensive lines. Always. Matt
Always.
Light. All those dudes.
Just look at the list of guys. Again, I am never going to begrudge a quarterback getting his money. Anybody getting their money. But there is a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
There is a trade-off.
Is there a Sam Darnold out there you can find for Houston?
Yeah. But again, I have an unmitigated bias against Ohio State quarterbacks. I think up until C.J. Stroud,
There has
all
yet
been
to be a good one.
buns.
That's not a bias. That's facts.
Like
that's reality.
It's for me. It was a lot of for a long time. It was Duke players in the NBA. I'm just like, you're not gonna be good. Like it was my single biggest blind spot to Jason Tatum. I was like, I don't like Kyrie was like the one off. He played 11 games at Duke. I'm like, I don't care. Like you're fine. You don't count. But I was like, I just don't trust Duke guys. Ohio State quarterbacks, and it's the same thing, to be honest, with USC quarterbacks. I thought Darnold was going to be a lot better than he ended up being before he got to Minnesota and Seattle. And it was like, ooh, maybe I was wrong. Now, Caleb is another guy who, like, he's different. But in between that, it was just Carson. Everybody else was kind of not great. Mm-hmm. I don't trust those guys. CJ has broken that mold. I think CJ Stroud is an above average. Like, if you're asking me right now, if the Raiders that say they don't have Mendoza and CJ Stroud was on the board, I would, or I shouldn't say on the board, was available, I would take C.J. Stroud right now in a heartbeat.
A team
over
with
Kyler Murray?
Oh, God, yes.
A team with quarterback problems and a outlook on an Ohio State quarterback, most likely at the start of the season, I would take C.J. Stroud in a second.
Yes.
Drop everything, C.J. Stroud.
Like, you're giving me a guy who's going to complete 64% of his passes, throw for 3,500. I mean, he's gone down each year, but it's also been about games played and things of those nature. Like, his rookie year he threw for 4,100 yards. You're telling me I've got a quarterback that, as a rookie, can throw for 4,000 yards? I'm going to book that guy down. That's a 4,000 yard quarterback. His rookie year, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. Like, if you're telling me I get on average 3,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 picks, and you're going to complete 65% of your passes, and you're, again, that playoff game and all the picks that he threw and how bad he looked, I get that. I'm not going to give him the Jim Harden label. You got to do that over years. You know what I mean? Like
Jim Harden.
Look, man, the playoffs, he's Jim. He ain't James. That's just, it is what it is.
Has that been a nickname that's been around for a long time and I'm just new to it?
Yeah, he's Jim Harden in the playoffs. He turns into a different human. What you got, Case?
The Texans lost to the Patriots. Again, that defense was insanely dominant.
C.J. Stroud lost to the Patriots.
But the game before that, C.J. Stroud carved through the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to act like this guy didn't put my team on a poster and make me wallow in my own sadness. Like C.J. Stroud.
In your own mud butt.
C.J. Stroud butchered the Steelers on primetime.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, I look at C.J. Stroud. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? No. Is he a top 12? Yeah. I don't think there's many quarterbacks outside of that group that I'm taking over him. Like if you're asking me about building forward, do I like Baker better right now? Yes.
No.
But if I'm signing a 5-year deal, do I want Stroud or Baker?
Yeah, I'm talking about 1 year. Would I take 1 year? Would I take Baker? Yes. Would I take Sam Darnold? Yes. But if you're asking me over the next 4 to 5 years, CJ's on the short list. I trust him, which is, I don't say that about a lot of quarterbacks that aren't stars. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that one playoff game was really bad, but I also know his offensive line was a nightmare. His weapons were non-existent. It's not like the Bills with Josh Allen where he doesn't have dudes. They just weren't healthy. That's been the biggest issue. So if you're asking me do I want to pay CJ Stroud $60 million? No, because I don't want to pay any quarterback who's not a top 3 quarterback $60 million.
break out the tinfoil hats because it's rigged. Once again, it's always rigged. There's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some NBA playoff updates for you as the Pistons took game 1 of the series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Cade Cunningham led the way for Detroit as he finished with 23, 7, and 3, playing 42 minutes in the contest. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated LeBron and the Lakers 108-90 last night. Chet Holmgren leading the way for the Thunder as he finished with 24 points, 12 boards, and 3 blocks as OKC takes Game 1 in the series. We have 2 Game 2 matchups slated for tonight as the Knicks hope to extend their series lead facing off against the 76ers at 4 p.m. today. 76ers will be without Joel Embiid due to an ankle and hip injuries. And in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves will take on the Spurs tonight at 6:30 as both Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu come into the contest as questionable. Finally, some MLB news for you as Houston Astros infielder Carlos Correa has suffered a torn tendon in his left ankle, and he will undergo season-ending surgery. Correa told reporters that he suffered a complete tear while taking swings in batting practice, and his estimated recovery time could take up to 6 to 8 months. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks.
We'll get to Web Gems here in a moment, everybody's favorite, except for when people die, which people died again. But I'm ready to break out the tinfoil hat, Danny. Power play Patty over here smells a conspiracy theory. Which team in the NHL do you think the NHL wants to win a title more right now?
Oh, I mean, without a doubt, Toronto.
It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, they had the 5th best odds, so this isn't,
isn't crazy.
This isn't
Atlanta
Dallas.
or Dallas jumping up.
Yes, and I am mostly jesting here and teasing. But it's just in a world where we think all draft lotteries are rigged, Dallas for Cooper Flag, San Antonio for Victor Wembanyama. I don't know.
Oh, yes, that massive market that is the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, the big man in the Star City, man, that'll do it.
Yeah, San Antonio star market for the NBA.
For big guys, it is.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like a...
Dude, in my lifetime, they have like 5 titles. They have as many titles as the Lakers do in my lifetime.
I get it, but it's not like, stars are like the NBA is not propping up the market of San Antonio.
But you know how everybody thinks that it's the tinfoil hat situation where it's got to be rigged. I saw that. Now, the only thing I don't know, and if you guys out there know, 503-864-6326, the only thing I don't know is I don't know if there's like one of those generational talents in this draft. It feels like every 3 years in hockey, the number 1 overall pick is a franchise game changer. Who are the best players in the NHL right now? They're all number 1 overall picks.
Well, I mean, they're much like the NBA, top-end talent comes to the very top in the NHL. Now, the difference is in the NHL, those guys aren't playing, 3/4 plus of a game. They're playing a little bit more than half because of lines, because they're going out for a minute and a half, 2 minutes at most in line changes and stuff like that. And you're running 3 lines, in the regular season, 4. When you've got your grinder groups that are out there. So they have certainly more an impact, but not as egregious an impact as you do as NBA players. But it's also, you're playing in smaller units. It's the difference between, the NFL and the NBA and the NHL. You're playing, 5-on-5. And obviously 6 with goalies, but you understand what I'm saying. Like the actual skaters that are out there. And so they can have those massive impacts. And yes, this is one of those NHL drafts where they have an absolute freak and McKenna coming out of Penn State. Like, this is a guy who, you're looking at being an absolute phenom.
Have you followed at all this story about the Toronto Maple Leafs' new general manager? He was the GM. Let's see. I heard Dirt talking about this, so I got to make sure I get this right. Chaika, I believe is his name. He was the GM for the Phoenix Coyotes. Is it Coyotes or Coyotes?
Coyotes.
I think they are the Coyotes. Although
but they don't
say
exist.
Coyote.
They don't exist anymore.
Right, they're in Utah.
They're in Utah.
But he was the GM for them, and he got in a bunch of trouble for like doing some real skeezy behind the scenes stuff. But he became a GM at like 28 years old. This is his second gig, and he's still the youngest GM in the NHL. Sounds like a really shady dude. But again, back to I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat for a moment. They cleaned house and brought in a new GM, and his first day on the job, they get the number 1 overall pick. Well, it's not bad. That's some nice love.
Well, it's not like Toronto has...
Nico Harrison just traded your franchise player post Dirk Nowitzki, and wow, we'll bail you out and give you another one. I'm just saying it reeks a little bit of that. Look, I'm not going to sit here and go like, oh my God, Toronto hasn't had talent. Toronto has had talent. What are we 60? They got Captain America right now.
We 60. What was it? 67. 67 is the last title for the Maple Leafs. Is that what it is? Been a long.
I have no idea. I know it's been a long time, but their best player, they have Captain America, Austin Matthews. When did he go in the draft?
Yeah,
number 1. It is cool to see all that. Hopefully, and he's been hurt this year, I guess. And 5th best odds to get the number 1 is cool.
Yeah,
I can buy that.
Last title for the Leafs is in 67.
Yeah,
that's a drought. And they have 13 Stanley Cups in their franchise's history. They got a lot of them things, but the problem is it has been since 67, and this is one of the OG of OG franchises in that sport, and they have gotten close. They sniffed it. This isn't the Buffalo Bills and going there and getting their teeth kicked in over and over again. This is a franchise, man. Like you talk about the opportunities that they've had, and they've just found a way to just not do it. That's the problem.
Let you know how their lottery works. It sees a set of 14 ping pong balls placed in a lottery machine, which allows for 1,001 1,001 combinations. Each of the 16 non-playoff teams is assigned a set of random 4-number combinations. The lower a team finishes in the standings, the more combinations they're assigned. The Vancouver Canucks, who finished with the league's worst point percentage, had 185 combinations or an 18.5% chance, followed by Chicago at 13.5 and the Rangers at 11.5. So that's just food for thought. I don't think we really need to get into it. That's just how they do their lottery,
It's a little bit different.
which is in the conversation of the NBA lottery. I personally don't care for lotteries.
I think you have to have it. More than anything, you have to have it.
Maybe in those sports specifically.
Because
I mean,
those players are so impactful.
And I mean, those sports, dude, for being completely different sports, man, those leagues are fairly similar in a lot of ways. Same number of games. Draft means everything. Not a ton of free agent movement, but trades do happen.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Problem is, hockey players care and basketball players.
and it's. I mean, you look at that Leafs roster. They also have another guy who was a kind of a lineage guy who was a number 1 overall pick, and now he's not as impactful as people thought he would be. He was very good, but not his peak was, I think, a little bit shorter. God, he's 35 now. In John Tavares. Tavares was a number 1 overall pick too. So it's not like they're short on guys. Like, you look up and down the roster. Yeah, they've got Austin Matthews. Yeah, they've got John Tavares. They've got Ekman Larson. Like, they've got guys that are on that roster. You're just like, that's a really, really, really. By the way, Ekman Larson was the 6th overall pick, and God, what was that? Oh God, it's 2009. He's 34. Yeah, it's so crazy. These guys are getting that old now. But like, if you look at most prolific NHL teams, they're like, you take the Blackhawks run of titles. Their greatness, Patty Kane, Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith, like, yeah, the top lines in the NHL are like, don't get me wrong, there are success stories like second round NBA players like the Draymond Greens, Nikola Jokic's, but in the NHL, to be honest, Major League Baseball to an extent is a little bit like this. How many top 5 picks truly bomb out in MLB?
Dustin Ackley.
But I mean, like, there's not a ton of them, but
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look.
when you peak early, the Bryce Harpers of the world, like you're typical, it's gonna translate.
Strasburg's a 1.
You know,
Harper's a 1.
you just go down Trout,
Spencer Torkelson's a 1, and he's having a nice little run right now.
guys that are top 3 picks in the NHL, very, 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 very seldomly flame out.
More people are dead. That's Web Gems coming up next. 105.1 The Fan.
The biggest question.
All right, this is everybody's favorite Web Gems. Do it every single day at 11:45. Coming up on the big nooner, anonymous NBA player polls are out, and where do your Blazers fit on that? Who does everybody hate? Who does everybody like? We'll get to that. Plus a little NFL thing, a larger question, but kind of based around what the Seahawks did yesterday with Dante Fowler Jr. and how they plan to repeat, and should other teams take a peek at what they're doing over there. But Web Gems today is brought to you, sadly, by the death of a media mogul. Ted Turner passed away this morning at 87 years old. Ted Turner, I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't know who Ted Turner was.
I mean, Ted Turner revolutionized how you drive your team to the masses.
Yes, I am a Cleveland Indians fan, Cleveland Guardians now, because of Ted Turner. He put the Atlanta Braves in our face all day, every day, and everybody I knew rooted for the Atlanta Braves, and I chose to be the other side.
Mm-hmm. Endless amount of
Ted Turner is the reason I'm a Cleveland Indians fan.
How many people do you think are out there? Do you know what TBS stands for?
Turner Broadcast System situation.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
Yeah.
Syndicate.
I bet you the staggering majority of people under 30 don't know that.
Don't know the T is Turner.
And it's him.
He made CNN.
That
Created the 20.
Remind me again, where is CNN headquartered?
Atlanta.
Yeah, this guy revolutionized television. And the other thing is, we were talking about this off air. Ted Turner has never not looked 80 years old to me. Why has he always looked so old?
Dude, the man was once married to Jane Fonda.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
24-hour news cycle will do that to you.
yeah, right?
Although, I can thank him for making me a Cleveland Indians fan, or hate him for it, however you want to look at that. But I can also hate him for creating CNN and giving us 24-hour news cycle, which at this point in time is an absolute disaster in S show and something I want nothing to do with on my television. Although CNN in theory was a good thing, but 24-hour news turned into 24-hour ESPN. Mm-hmm. That's not a Ted Turner thing, but doing 24-hour news gave somebody the idea to say, why can't we do 24-hour sports?
Indeed, and go look at when the ESPN started.
Not far after.
It's that whole he revolutionized how we consume media. Now, whether or not that was necessarily a good thing, we can have that discussion later. But you know what's funny is, this is a squirrel moment. When you Google Ted Turner, one of the first searches is, does Ted Turner have 4 girlfriends?
Does he? You didn't click on it?
Come on, man. I'm on the work browser.
Dude, why don't you click on it, man? I want to know that. Does he have 4 girlfriends? You think that's going to wreck your algorithm?
I'm just saying.
Your algorithm has been wrecked far more than something like that.
In a 2012 interview with a Hollywood Reporter, Ted Turner revealed he had 4 girlfriends, stating each woman received approximately 1 week of his time per month. He described this arrangement as a general rule and acknowledged it was complicated, but preferred to marriage, having divorced his 3rd wife, Jane Fonda, in 2001.
3rd wife and 4 girlfriends. That's a lot.
The craziest thing I ever heard about Ted Turner was Ted Turner wanted to own enough land that he could ride his horse from Canada to Mexico on only land he owned.
I mean, that's
a power play move.
I like that.
That's a power play move.
Those are goals. Louisiana Purchase? Nah, dog. Ted Turner Purchase.
The Turner Trail.
Pacific Coast Trail? Nah. Continental Divide? Nah.
The Turner Trail from Saskatoon to Oaxaca, all owned by Ted Turner himself.
If he's old enough, he might have been able to buy the land a lot cheaper back then. But yeah, TBS and TNT and CNN. That's him. That's a pretty wild media legacy.
Rest in peace, Ted Turner, gunned down in his prime.
Indeed. But I mean, look, the guy who sits in your chair before you is a Braves fan because of Ted Turner.
See.
Like Sprague and God knows how many other dudes his age are massive Braves fans because of that dude.
When we were young, the only teams you got was the Chicago Cubs, maybe a little bit of White Sox.
But WGN and TBS, baby.
Definitely a lot of Braves. Mm-hmm. A lot of Braves.
Somehow I became a Cardinals fan. Right in between.
Well, should I be mad at Ted Turner for being a Cleveland Indians fan, or should I praise him?
A little bit.
It's brought me a lot of coolness in my life.
And then let's look, racism aside, great jerseys.
The Braves?
Oh, no, Indians.
Oh, yeah.
Great jersey.
I think both of them.
It's great. Oh, yes, Braves. But I mean, Indians, great look.
Cleveland, the land.
It just looks good.
Mistake by the lake.
Yeah,
You can't tell the story of baseball without it.
Nope.
You sure can't. You sure can't. When we come back, the big nooner is next. The NBA Anonymous Players Poll is out. Coaches, most liked, overrated players, underrated players, and who they think the MVP and depoys will be. Plus, we'll talk a little Seahawks as well. Loaded final hour. Don't go anywhere. 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This sports update is brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for a DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fan, some NBA playoff updates for you as the Pistons took game 1 of the series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Cade Cunningham leading the way for Detroit as he finished with 23, 7, and 3, playing 42 minutes in the contest. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated LeBron and the Lakers last night, 108-90, as Chet Holmgren led the way for OKC. He finished with 24 points, 12 boards, and 3 blocks as OKC takes Game 1 in the series. We have 2 Game 2 matchups slated for tonight as the Knicks hope to extend their series lead, facing off against the 76ers at 4 p.m. today, as the Sixers will be without Joel Embiid for Game 2 due to ankle and hip injuries. And in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves will take on the Spurs tonight at 6:30, as both Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu come into the contest as questionable. Finally, some MLB news for you, as Houston Astros infielder Carlos Correa has suffered a torn tendon in his left ankle, and he will undergo season-ending surgery. Correa told reporters that he suffered a complete tear while taking swings in batting practice, and his estimated recovery time could take up to 6 to 8 months. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Seahawks football.
Two down, 1 to go here. The firm of Harris and Marang. We do this bad boy every single Friday. Every single Friday. Also Mondays. Also Tuesdays. Mostly Wednesdays. And
It's not even a Friday.
we'll add Thursday to it. I think I'm having a stroke. I smell toast.
I do love it when the vents in here kick on and we both do the same look at each other like, are we having strokes? Because it legitimately will smell like burnt toast when those things kick on in the winter.
It really does.
It's like, we'll shoot a look at each other, like, we'll verify, like, you smell that too? Because, like, I feel a little pain in my left shoulder. What's going on?
We do this program every weekday
Ding,
from
ding, ding.
10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There we go. Got that out.
Love it.
I forgot for a second, but I'm bringing it back in. After us, we'll send it over to Duck Insider from 1 to 2, and then the Fan Happy Hour with Luke Anderson from 2 to 3, and then it's primetime, baby. 3 to 7. It started with Dirt and Sprague this morning at 6 a.m., and it'll finish up at 7 p.m. tonight, finishing up 13 hours of live, local, continuous, regional sports talk radio. Also, you can join us June 23rd as Toyota presents the Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club. Foursomes are on sale now. Choose between the morning or the afternoon rounds, but get your group signed up. They do fill up fast. I believe the afternoon, it might be like 1 or 2 left. It's the most fun day in golf with activations and tastings around the course and the infamous Angels Envy Bourbon Par 3 6th hole. Well, all of our hosts, Dirt, Sprague, Luke, Sukanik, and Isaac Ropp, myself and Danny will all be posted up to heckle and admire your shots. Of course, we'll keep you fed. Post-round meal thanks to our friends at Matt's Barbecue, 1051thefan.com. Click on the Fan Golf Classic logo for information and to sign up today. The Fan Golf Classic, presented by Toyota, is also brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction, Henderson and Daughter Windows and Doors, George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law, Battery Exchange, Maestro Dobel Tequila, Your Neighborhood Restaurant Group, Philbrook Law, 1-800-DIVORCE, Roto-Rooter, Il Legal Mezcal, and Window Nation.
You can put it on the board.
That's going in the hall as one of the better ones I've done. The Athletic put out their anonymous NBA player poll. Now, Danny, you said that the GM one is not far away.
We'll get one a little bit later, yeah.
And what's the GM one cover?
Same thing as far as like awards and stuff like that.
Let's see here. So on this, you get most overrated player, you get most underrated player, most impressive coach, least impressive coach, best defensive player, and also you can get who they believe will be the MVP. We can start right there. I think I saw it. It is overwhelmingly Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, yeah.
From a player perspective. Now, how do you get to be one of these voters? Because it's not all of them.
No,
it's not every player.
So the Athletic has their beat reporters. I've been in there with Quick and a couple others, and what I've heard the questions and the answers. So it's kind of funny when I see some of these every now and then. Like when a quote gets put in there, I know exactly what player it was. I was in an away locker room and I heard a player talk about a veteran player talk about another veteran player, just straight up ripped him, and I was like, damn, tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, and if you're, say, let's see, I just had who did this. This is compiled by Josh Robbins, Sam Amick, and Joe Varden. I don't know two of those guys. I know Sam. That's my curiosity, too, is like, how do you get to be asked? Like, do you ask a Drew Holiday and a Jeremy Grant?
They will go to guys that they have either relationships with, guys that are long tenured, guys that are respected, guys that are all-stars. Like, that's...
I also wonder if it would be smart to go to guys like Tumani Kamara.
Oh, they will.
Hey, dude, you played 82 games and you D up the best player on the team.
Guys that are respected. Those are guys that'll get talked to, for sure. Like, I've seen Dame get interviewed. I've seen Jimmy Butler get interviewed. I've seen Drew get interviewed. That was actually in an away locker room, not even as a Trailblazer. I've seen a handful of, like, stars getting interviewed because you go to guys who have respect, who will give you, like, Dame getting asked or Drew getting asked or Jimmy getting asked. These are guys that are well respected and have good relationships with the media and will give you candid answers. And also they'll do it with reporters that they have rapport with, that they trust, and that these things aren't going to get out, right? So that's the whole point of the anonymous part of this. So yeah, and again, I've heard these questions being asked and I've heard answers given where I've gone, turned my head to the side like, well, oh. Okay.
Here's one for you. Who is the league's best defensive player? 151 votes cast, overwhelming 41% for Victor Wembanyama.
And the guys who say otherwise are just pissy.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is Tumani Kamara.
Oh, weird.
8 is Drew Holiday.
Oh, weird.
But here's another thing that you'll find strange because of where you believe on it. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is Rudy Gobert.
That's because he's not liked.
Yeah.
Because
that's the bias in there.
If you go to the most overrated players in the league,
Evan Mobley is 4 slots below him too. Do people not like Evan Mobley?
I think they think he's a little bit soft.
Oh.
There's some of that.
Soft, huh?
Yeah, defensive player of the year, but he's soft. Yeah, don't get me started. But you will get inherent biases of guys that just don't like guys.
Well, clearly, I'm looking right here now. Which current coach, aside from your own, do you find least impressive? Okay, Brian Keefe's at the top. It wasn't until I listened to Dirt and Sprague this morning that I even found out who Brian Keefe is, so I get that. Doc Rivers is going to take a lot of heat because it's Doc Rivers. Doug Christie, lowest paid coach in the NBA, probably for a reason. But then you get on this list of Steve Kerr. He's got 4 titles. I think Steve Kerr is just fine. Billy Donovan is next. I think Billy Donovan is just fine. Nick Nurse, kind of a red ass, but a pretty good coach.
Rick Carlisle getting a single vote on this is one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was a Halliburton Achilles tear away from winning a title with 2 different teams and he's got one against one of the best teams we've ever seen, and he would have had another one out of absolutely nowhere. Like, that's Rick Carlisle is for me, one of the best coaches of my lifetime.
Well, him and J.J. Redick and Steve Kerr are all kind of in the middle of this list here. You know what's funny? They're all in the middle of the list of which current coach, aside from your own, do you find the most impressive? So that goes to show maybe it's polarizing. Probably not. It's probably people that have some sour grapes on there.
I mean, did you hear Draymond Green? I mean, he said Steve Kerr was a hindrance to him.
Dude, what are you doing, man?
Austin
Just
Rivers, keep going, Austin. Keep going.
And that's dumb, too, because I want Austin Rivers to shut up as well. Because
Austin
Draymond is correct about Austin Rivers.
He's not.
That's Nepo money.
He's not.
You guys are out of your
Austin
mind.
Rivers has the single greatest high school mixtape that has ever existed.
Sweet.
No.
And that got him to Duke. That did not get him that should not have gotten him a bag.
Where he was
in the
ACC
NBA.
Freshman of the Year.
Totally, dude. He was a great player at Duke. He was a pretty average player in the NBA.
Yeah, he was an average player in the NBA.
I would say maybe even below average.
No, Austin was no. Austin was a average player in the NBA. And if you want to say Nepo money, fine, whatever. But Austin is a totally average NBA player. And Austin Austin, to his credit, has never been a guy thumping his chest about it. He downplays his career all the time. But Austin was the number 1 rated player in high school. Like, by orders of magnitude. And Draymond, as great as he is, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Sure.
To say that Steve Kerr hindered your career and didn't run offense for you is bonkers. And for Austin Rivers to hit him with a backpack again, I mean, he's not wrong. Circumstance buoyed him up. But to the polling and everything that came out of here, look, I mean, like which coach aside from you find the least impressive? I mean, it's funny. You look at the bottom 5 coaches here: Joe Mazzulla, Ty Lue, Kenny Atkinson, Ime Udoka, JJ Redick. Other than Ty Lue, what are the other guys all doing here?
Playoffs.
It's like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
Which current coach, aside from your own, do you find the most impressive? 146 votes. That is Joe Mazzulla at 1, Mark D. in Oklahoma City at 2, J.B. Bickerstaff, and then Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
Who's Jordan Ott?
Phoenix Suns coach.
Oh, that's right.
Remember,
That's right.
They were supposed to be buns this year.
Mitch Johnson. Mitch Johnson seems
Spurs,
okay.
yeah.
Plus, he sounds like me. The most like, you shouldn't sound like that when you look like that.
Oh, voice does not match face.
No, really
100%.
doesn't.
But again, a lot of this has to do with, guys that are likable. Spo's a hard ass, but he's likable. Mitch Johnson's likable.
Mm-hmm.
JB Bickerstaff, very likable.
They love him in Detroit.
NBA lifer.
Mm-hmm.
That's Bernie's kid.
Let's get into players, okay? There's some Blazers on these. A very interesting one from your starting point guard of the Portland Trail Blazers, where he lands on a couple of these lists. We'll go there next. 105.1 The Fan. We'll get to a little bit of NFL roster construction, which seems to be the topic of trends these days in any sport. Roster construction this, roster construction that. More existentially in the NFL, but using the Seahawks as an example, that's coming up next. The Athletic put out their most underrated, most overrated, impressive, non-impressive, MVPs, depoys, stuff like that. And finishing up that, we'll get into where a couple of your Portland Trailblazers land. We'll start with the league's most underrated player, Jalen Johnson. He takes first place, tied with Derek White, 151 votes cast, which is a fun kind of thought to think about with this, because Derek White didn't have the most amazing season this year, especially when they really needed him to. But here he is sitting number 2 on the list. I find that fascinating. Jaylen Brown at 3. It's like a 4-way tied for second here with Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, and Austin Reeves. Funny that 4 of these players are Celtics.
Or former Celtics.
Oh, excuse me. 3 are current. 1 is former. And Drew. Apologies on that. Drew Holiday, for an example, 2 years ago was voted the most underrated player.
He's been in the top 5 every year.
Last year finished second. This year finishes 5th or 3rd, 4th, however you want to look at it. If you finish underrated that many years in a row, you need to stop being considered underrated.
Well, they just don't get lumped in the conversation of being those dudes.
It's because nobody has built their franchise around Drew Holiday.
Yes. Drew Holiday's always been the second best player, at best.
At best.
In New Orleans,
even
in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, he was
Middleton.
the 3rd.
Yeah. And in Boston, he's the 3rd.
I mean, maybe the 4th if you really value Brook Lopez.
I would say I'd put Drew there, but
Agreed.
I know what you mean. It's hard to find a 7-footer.
Yes,
like
that can stroke.
Scarcity is that's the thing. But yeah, no, like Derek White is another version of Drew Holiday. And there's just not many of those guys in the league. They just
elite perimeter defenders.
But they just win. Like, what's the weakness in their game? Like, oh, Derek White didn't shoot that well from 3. It's like, yeah, guess what? He still shows up.
They're not ridiculous scorers. But
they still find a way. They can guard up and down an entire lineup. They can play make. They can create. They can defend. They'll get after. Like, they will do whatever you ask them to do.
15, 5, 5, and 5 guys.
Dude, like, I put up that line, like the 18, 7, and 5, like those guys in their career. Like guys who've had a season of that. Like, there's just not many guys that do that impact a game in every single facet. Those guys are dumb valuable. Like, and if you go up and down this list, Jalen Johnson, because he plays in Atlanta and they're not like a marquee franchise, he was 20, 10, and 8. He was damn near averaging a triple-double. Like, he only played 36 games last year, but watched him last year, was like, damn, he's really coming on. This
Alexander Walker's on this list, just won most improved player.
Yeah, and it's like, it's really funny. There's not a. This is going to be a little tangent. It's going to set up something next. I don't know if you noticed something about this list, the most underrated players. Do you know who's not on this entire list? You know there's not one of? Not a single European player. Not a single European player on this list is most underrated.
Very interesting.
Not a single one. There's a couple Canadians. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Shaden Sharp.
OG. I was going to say 2 things real quick, and I do want to get to the Shaden Sharp part of it. Chris Dunn is on this list.
One of the best perimeter defenders in the league.
Also finished number 2 in the Players' Survey of Defensive Player of the Year, or who's the best defender.
On ball, he's a monster.
I think that's my new player that I'm going to start watching next season.
Shout out JCPenney.
Yeah, get some more Chris Dunn in my life. From some of the young kids that are on this, Cooper Flagg made this list.
How is Cooper Flagg underrated?
Dylan Harper made this list.
How is he underrated?
He's 19.
And Shaden Sharp made this list.
Okay.
Well, I think, when you talk to players around the league, they can all see the athleticism from him.
They know.
They all watch the highlights.
They all know the talent.
Yeah.
But underrated? I don't think he's underrated.
I just thought it was interesting to see Shaden Sharp.
What's really funny is when you see the also getting votes list, it is a mile long. What they say was 89 different players received at least one vote.
Of most underrated?
Yeah, last year it was 75. And guys will vote for their teammates, and you'll see some names on here like, wait, what? What do you mean?
Thanasis Antetokounmpo made the list.
I know exactly what you mean, and I agree. I'm not kidding. Thanasis might be the most impactful player that never plays.
Because have Thanasis, you get Giannis.
Not just that. That's like Giannis's woogie. If Thanasis isn't there, it messes him up. Like, that's an actual thing.
It's like his blanket?
Yes.
That's weird.
That is like,
you're a grown-ass man.
If Thanasis isn't there, and I've heard this from multiple people with the Bucks, like it messes him up. Like that bond is something different. So the value of him is actually pretty nuts. Like it's actually somebody putting him on there. It's funny, but it's also like, I can understand that. Like that's a little bit of a weird one, but I get it.
Who is the league's most overrated player? 81 votes cast. By a landslide, that would be Alperen Şengün at number 1. Number 2, Rudy Gobert.
Stop it.
Fly down that list a little bit. You'll find Denny Avdia. You will find Luka Doncic. And you will find Dylan Brooks. What do all those guys have in common? Oh, there's Brandon Podziemski.
Domantas
Sabonis.
Pascal Siakam.
What do all those guys have in common?
Weird.
Danny?
It's a pile of European players.
Now, let's not forget, we do need to get our druthers in on some other people like Trae Young, Cat, Paolo Banchero, Jaw. Seeing Scotty Barnes on this list was one of the more surprising ones.
That's the Toronto, no, he's actually really, 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 like people get tired of that crap.
Yeah.
It's the Masai Ujiri of, propping up your assets type of deal. But
Trae and Jaw are the exact same players in my book. Trae, obviously, less loose in the head. Paolo, we've seen that. Cat, we've seen that. And then, when you look at the Denny Avdias and the Lukas, players in the league must really hate that downhill BS.
Well, they do.
They must really hate it.
But it's also, look, I'll say the quiet part out loud. There's a lot of Europeans on that list, and guess what else there is? There's a lot of white dudes on that list.
A lot of white dudes on this list, yeah.
It's super weird. Super weird. And again, I'm not sitting here going, championing the white NBA player, but it's like, look, guys, there's a certain profile of guy, and, we joked about it, but, who's not on either of these lists? Chet Holmgren.
Peyton Pritchard made the other list.
Weird. I wonder why.
He's down.
I do want to ask you, Danny, about Şengün, and then a little bit about Gobert as well. Why are these
Two different
players?
reasons, but yeah.
Why are these players so disliked? Şengün feels like a really nice player and a really nice piece, and definitely part of the future in Houston. But this whole situation with Kevin Durant is out of control, and he seems to be blaming all of it on Şengün. And what are players going to naturally gravitate to, the Hall of Famer or the kid?
I mean, it's also people can say what they want to about players and what they see publicly. Guys mess with KD. It's the same thing with Westbrook. And Kyrie, those guys that
they love him.
They love those guys.
I think we saw it kind of unfold the other night when LeBron and Şengün got into it, where it was, oh, that's a soft foul?
I don't want to hear that from you. Anyone else on your
okay.
team. Anybody else on your team wants to say that? Not from you, dog.
Dude, I love LeBron burning the stakes.
I
love it.
Late career LeBron has made a pivot for me where I'm lean into it, dog. Go.
Been really cool.
Shake fisted sky. Do it.
So what is it about Şengün?
He is floppy and whiny and pouty, and he's not as good as Jokic. Jokic gets away with it because he's not as bad. He's nowhere near as bad defensively as Jokic. He's nowhere near as bad. But he can be a bad defender.
But he's nowhere as good as Jokic is offensively.
No. And that's the thing, and he does have the Europeans. But here's the thing. A lot of particularly the American-born players, they feel a certain kind of way about the European player. They don't like that. Well, the European player is like, oh, it's a better game because they grew up playing a certain style, and there's a racial connotation that comes with the AAU versus European stuff. But here's the thing. I'll tell you right now, the AAU stuff, I hate it. And I don't care if you're white, black, brown, or anywhere in between. The style of basketball that comes out of AAU, I don't get down with.
It's less team basketball.
Look, Ant Edwards has flat out said it.
It was really,
I need to be a better playmaker. He kind of came out of that ethos, and his game has evolved to be more team-centric, and now he's becoming an absolute monster.
It felt like AAU peaked in the late 90s, early 2000s, Allen Iverson time. Allen Iverson, everybody wanted to play like Allen Iverson. The problem is now, too, with where the game has gone, how many AAU kids want to be Steph Curry and Damian Lillard and shooting from the logo? And it's bro, you are 5'6" at 13 years old. Stop shooting threes from the logo where you're literally hawking it,
or the Julian Newmans of the world.
Yes.
The last of the true AAU era, I think, ended with Trae Young, Karl Anthony, Devin Booker. Again, all the guys who were in the he ain't even stretched, though, video watching Blake Griffin throw down dunks for the USA team.
And two of those guys are on this list that you just mentioned.
So...
And I think Rudy's probably on this list because...
people just don't like Rudy.
Yeah, because he probably pushes you around, and they don't like someone being super physical on you.
And here's the thing. Find me a team that Rudy Gobert has anchored defensively that's been bad defensively. Find me one. Utah Jazz, monsters defensively. Minnesota Timberwolves, monsters defensively. When that dude is on the floor, one of the better defenses or best defenses year in, year out. Just take the other crap. It's like, oh, he's overrated, Then why are his teams always good defensively? Why? Why are his teams always good defensively? Like, that's the thing. I'm just like, throw all the BS out. Like, just, I get it. You don't like the dude. That stuff gets so tired to me. But the most overrated part of this, like, you can make arguments for a lot of these guys. But, like, Hallie being on this list.
He didn't even play this year.
Bro, stop. He backpacked the team to the NBA Finals and would have won a title as the guy.
Which is
Boston
my next
fans
question.
Must be hurt.
Which is my next question for you, okay? Trae Young, Karl Anthony Towns, Paolo, Ja. I'm cool with all that.
Guys who rub guys the wrong way for other reasons. They just don't like Hallie because Hallie kind of sticks to him and does it with kind of a smile on his face.
And that's my next question. If you are Denny Avdia, if you are Luka Doncic, if you are Tyler Hero, Tyrese Halliburton, and you're on this list, I almost wear that as a badge of honor.
Mm-hmm.
That's just you're a hater.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that because I don't think any of those players are overrated. Again, I don't know where I am on Denny. I really want to see Denny next year, and depending on how the Blazers improve or de-improve their
Giannis
roster.
used to be on a list like this because he didn't have a bag.
But if you're Luka Doncic and you're on this, you're like, oh, nice. 3.7 out of 81 people think I'm overrated.
I'm one of the best offensive engines in history. I could retire today and be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No chips. And be a first ballot Hall of Famer because I'm one of the most productive offensive engines in the history of the game. And I'm overrated? That's wild.
And if I'm a guy like Scotty Barnes, I'm considered in the same breath as Denny Avdia, Pascal, and Luka. I might be moving dangerous now.
I think there's a sprinkle of the Toronto stuff there, but Scotty's a damn good player. I
will not listen to Pascal Siakam slander.
No.
I will not.
No, absolutely not. Not after that run last year, and then not after winning a title. Like,
not on my Pacers.
Yeah, dog. If anything, Pascal's properly rated. Really freaking good.
Yeah, a huge key to winning a title.
Spicy P, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's. I don't want to.
If you're going to put Pascal Siakam on this list, I need to see OG Anunoby too. Bam.
And what's funny is
I want to see Bam on this list too.
OG's on the other list.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on, man.
Those three players, while they have different style of games at times.
What's funny is Bam just missed the cut on the overrated.
And
Bam's number one on the also receiving votes.
And that's because he scored 86 points in a game. Outside of that, Bam is perfectly rated. A very, very awesome player to have on your team.
Yeah, if you go to the also receiving votes, you've got guys like Bam, you've got Joel Embiid, Darius Garland, SGA, Jaren Jackson, LeBron, Donovan Mitchell, Trey Murphy, Jason Tatum, Amen Thompson. Somebody casted a vote for Wemby.
Somebody cast a vote for Luke Cornett. Who cares? Why?
Because somebody got mad at me. You know what it is? Who was playing who was supposed to play in the Magic City game? That's who it was.
Because Donovan is hurt.
Oh, I already forgot that Luke Cornett was the guy who blew that up.
Yeah, him and Al Horford.
I was like, what do you got against Alex Caruso?
Yeah,
Darius Garland. Like, what these guys do to you?
That's the one that's wild for me. Like, Darius is like one of the nicest guys in the league, man. Like, what do we? This is so dumb. This is where like the high school pettiness. We talked about like the adults in the room as far as the college football. This is the adults in the room. Players again non-existent.
When Ty Jerome, Luke Cornett, and Caleb Martin get votes, you're like, all right.
Cody Williams. Who's rating Cody Williams?
I don't even know who that is.
Played at Colorado. It's Jalen's little brother.
Caleb Martin?
Martin twins.
No idea.
Oh, Caleb Martin won me some great money hitting threes for Miami.
Yeah. But it's like this stuff gets very dumb very quickly.
Seahawks add a depth piece. Is this the new way to figure out roster construction in the NFL? We'll go there next, and then we'll finish you up on this last half hour. There's Casey over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some NBA playoff updates for you as the Pistons took Game 1 of the series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Cade Cunningham led the way for Detroit as he finished with 23 points, 7 assists, and 3 boards, playing 42 minutes in the contest. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated LeBron and the Lakers 108-90 last night. Chet Holmgren leading the way for the Thunder as he finished with 24 points, 12 boards, and 3 blocks as OKC took home Game 1. We have 2 Game 2 matchups slated for tonight as the Knicks hope to extend their series lead facing off against the 76ers at 4 p.m. today. 76ers will be without Joel Embiid for Game 2 due to ankle and hip injuries. And in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves will take on the Spurs tonight at 6:30 as both Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu come into the contest as questionable. Finally, some MLB news for you as Houston Astros infielder Carlos Correa has suffered a torn tendon in his left ankle and he will undergo season-ending surgery. Correa told reporters that he suffered a complete tear while taking swings in batting practice and his estimated recovery time could take up to 6 to 8 months. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime time with
Closing arguments coming up next to send you on your way. This did just flash across my timeline, too. Catch this. Due to a law passed in 2017, the Toronto World Cup games being hosted, you cannot sell your ticket for more than you paid for it.
No scalping?
Novel concept, my friends. Novel concept.
Well, the one that I want to see is that the ticket groups can't recoup money on those.
Good.
That's what I.
You made your money.
Yeah.
Why do you need to make money again?
FIFA double dipping is insane.
I hate it.
I saw that they're getting up to 30% of secondary market recoup.
That's what happens, man. Musicians do it all the time. You know, the Robert Smith of The Cure, he came out and he was like, "No, you can't do that. We don't want the money. If any concert ticket or sporting event ticket sells at a platinum status." Or, stuff like that where it's fluctuating throughout the day. That's all because the artist or the event signed up for it. Dude, I love the Dave Matthews Band, and they're like big time into saving the earth and planting trees and trying to do a no waste tour, like by being as eco-friendly as possible. Bro, they got platinum tickets on because they still trying to make that dollar. So even the good guys, quote unquote, Taylor Swift, I'm here for everybody, but I'm also really trying to make $1 trillion.
I'm also going to helicopter to every single concert.
So the fact that Canada has passed laws makes me feel a lot better about it.
Well,
Too bad I just won't be going to Toronto for games.
Well, here in the U.S., rule the monopoly.
Oh, man, dude.
We love to see it.
Free market capitalism. Keep telling me how awesome it is.
It is.
I know you would say that.
Well, you wouldn't have this job if you didn't.
I don't know what that means. You mean things aren't based on talent? An interesting story that came across yesterday. Seattle Seahawks signed Dante Fowler Jr. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, I think, in closing arguments. Yeah. And nice little signing. I think he'll be.
This is what good teams do.
Yeah, he'll add some great depth to it, and that's kind of where I wanted to look at it. It's almost like the NFL could take a page out of what Kirby Smart was saying in Georgia about the old days. Is if you can find those pretty okay players, sign them to 1-year deals that are kind of fighting for a little bit, and you have that depth in that rotation.
Mercenaries.
Is Lawrence going to have a couple games where he's probably not going to play? Totally. You're going to need to find that
or
depth.
You just rotate guys through.
And I would like to see if the NFL continues to – it's a copycat league. All leagues are copycat leagues. I think the Seahawks right now are sneakily, if not obviously – the best run organization in the NFL right now.
You can make an argument for him.
And I think it's tough to say, too, because it's easy to always choose who won the Super Bowl. You're like, oh, look at Philly. They're doing it the best. Their GM, their owner, everything is so awesome in Philly. But it's like a couple years later, you're like, well, culturally inside the house, it's not that great. To where the Seahawks decided that quarterback was not what we were going to spend all our money on. We're going to lock up JSN. We like our new corners that we've got, and we've built this nasty defensive line.
But they also went through the post-Russ era.
They did.
Where they weren't that good.
And something I said earlier that still resonates in my head, and I just like to almost sit and stew on it because I never thought of it that way. Were the Seahawks a Super Bowl contender and we just didn't know it? They knew it. They knew that they were a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender, and we were like, Hawks can't win with Geno. Like, what are they doing there? And meanwhile, they're going, we know. Give it time.
We dealt away Geno, we dealt away DK, and here we go.
All we needed to do was fix some things. We just weren't in a rush.
Well, you can take a look at the Eagles. You can take a look at the Seahawks. You can take a look at the Rams. And people are like, oh, what about the Chiefs? I'm like, well, I think the Chiefs are a very well-run organization, particularly when you're talking about head coach and quarterback. But what the difference is you've got Mahomes. Where the Ravens
masks a lot of issues.
Yeah, were the Ravens this well-run institution under Harbaugh for a long time? Yeah, they were. The Lamar part of it got a little weird. Now let's see what the new era looks like.
They were also, again, Harbaugh was almost on the way out before Lamar came in and saved him for a bit. But yeah, you're right.
And you guys might kill me for it, and I know I'm going to die on this hill, but that's another reason why I'm okay. I don't love it, but I'm okay with the Rams taking Ty Simpson.
But that's for me, I land on the other side of it.
Because they don't want to do what the Seahawks did. And I would argue that the Seahawks did it the right way.
You the whole
otherwise you become Casey Steelers.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's
offense.
There's one team in modern NFL history that has been successful what the Rams just did. Just one. Green Bay. That's it. That's the list.
And I would scarcely define success that way.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Well, they won a Super Bowl off of it.
You went from Favre to Rodgers to Love. You're going to have 3 quarterbacks over the span of basically 50 years.
If Love wins a Super Bowl, that's some weird juju going on.
But like that's
over
what I'm saying. The idea of like drafting the quarterback when you have the quarterback, because remember when they took Love, Rodgers was still really good.
I believe he was the reigning MVP.
That's what I mean. Like, so and remind me again. Did they get another chance? They came off. This is Stafford coming off an MVP season. Do you think if the Packers could have it all back, would they trade the chance to have Jordan Love and keep things maybe going for a chance at one more title?
Maybe.
Or at least a chance at it? I would argue you probably should have.
Or their thought is, I would like a chance at the next 10 years instead of the chance at the next, a better chance at a lesser chance in the next 10 years than a better chance in the next 2 years. That's the choice they made.
See, I would always take the 2-year one because forecasting out 5-10 years in any sport is just crazy.
Especially in that sport where your average lifespan is 2.5 years or whatever it is. And that's why, going back full circle to the CJ Stroud conversation that we had, that's why it's so dangerous. That's why it's such a tricky choice to make.
For me, that one's not tricky. I think you pay him.
I just mean, and
I understand what you're
it's
saying.
not necessarily CJ Stroud himself,
But it's
or the
teams that
Houston
are
Texans. It's
in
that
that
teams
role.
within that window.
Yeah.
if the Houston Texans have Sam Darnold, do they win? Do they win another playoff game and beat New England? Maybe.
Well, I don't know if I don't.
Agreed. I know Seattle has a better offensive line, better weapons. I totally get that.
If you just flopped them, Seattle's probably still winning. Like if CJ Stroud has got that team, I think they probably still win the title.
And I think I'd rather have Sam Darnold than CJ Stroud.
You can make that argument, but I also think that offensive line was that bad for the Texans.
And the Seahawks was good.
Was good.
And they
Is
had
it
a
the
nice
best?
run game.
No. Is it solid? Hell yeah. So
They were solid enough to run for 150 yards in both the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Who's the Super Bowl MVP?
K9.
What does he play?
Running back.
Boom. We come back, closing arguments to send you on your way. 105.1 The Fan.
It's time for Easy Play, brought to you by Home Z, making home improvement easy.
Outperformed this postseason. The block by Holmgren on Ayton. The push ahead, Hartenstein. Holmgren!
That's Mike Tirico. Chet Holmgren was the belle of the ball last night, giving the Oklahoma City a 1-0 advantage over the Lakers at home. They'll play again Thursday, and unless Luka comes up from the grave, it could be a short series for the LA Lakers. This Easy Play brought to you by HomeZ. Use HomeZ's online calculator to estimate your project instantly. Make it easy. Call HomeZ. That's HOMZE. HomeZ.com.
We just finished our roof and siding with HomeZ.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Closing arguments brought to you by Leskin Law. Visit leskinlaw.com for more information. Coming up on the program tomorrow, we'll have a 10 toes down kind of Thursday because that's what we do at 12:15. Questions you ask us that we have to answer unequivocally, no wishy-washy. No one is allowed to vacillate on that situation.
It's our word of the day.
That's my word of the day, at least hopefully my word of the year, and I can add it into my vocabulary and see if people don't think I am SMRT. What else? We have had some fun in the YouTube chat today, talking about a 3-team deal that would involve the Portland Trailblazers and get Giannis to a market that he would, in theory, want to be. We thought we'd have a little fun with that. If everybody else gets to throw out trade rumors all the time, then damn it, so do we.
Look, it's not even a rumor. It's more hypothetical. Like this is where I love the team building aspect of sports. It's one of my favorite things to do. Not for the rumor mill. It's the thought process. Like, why would a team do this? And it's not, I want to give you nothing and I get everything back. Those kind of things, when those come in the text line, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is, I'm always like, guys, that's not, no. You can't give up your 13th, 14th, and 15th guys in the rosters to go get an MVP.
I also
chill.
I was also listening to Bobby Marks was on Dirt and Sprague this morning. Great conversation. It's
Love
at the
Bobby.
Top of the 8 o'clock hour. If you missed it, go back and check that out. And they were laughing, and he was making some jokes. And I totally agree that the ESPN talking heads were like, we got to get Giannis to Boston now. I don't want to live in that world, but I'd like to have some theoretical ideas.
Look, I talk to Bobby.
It's also a fun way to just talk about the Blazers
pretty frequently. And look, there's a thing that not just him, but everybody at that institution has to do to gin up stuff. And look, man, everybody at the 4-letter says and writes things they don't believe.
Of course.
They are told, hey, we need something to do this, and this to get conversations going.
Right before we came on the show today, there's some more money influx down in Corvallis that I would like to look into. I haven't had the chance to really read about it, so I figured we could chat about that tomorrow.
Go Beavers.
And I don't know, I'm trying to find some baseball. Maybe we'll talk about officiating Wemby. How on earth do you do that? Because the Timberwolves are doubling down on him getting away with stuff. I actually did.
Got a campaign.
I actually did see some replays. Ball's coming down. It's just tough. It's Wemby. Tonight, Sixers, Knicks at 4 o'clock. R.I.P. Sixers.
Yeah, no indeed.
I bet you they lose by 20 tonight.
The line was pretty big, so I would imagine it's going to be
Let's see what Espen's got. 10.5.
But here's the thing. As good as the Knicks have been in that last game against the Hawks and then this first game against Philly,
they can't shoot like that all the time.
Not just that. They have this rampant ability to just crap the bed.
Well, I'm looking at you, Bridges. You know, Hart's never going to be an offensive guy.
No, Brunson, though. Brunson had some stinkers against the Hawks.
Not my Huckleberry.
No, not mine either.
The nightcap, 6:30, Minnesota, San Antonio. I really, really hope this isn't San Antonio by 15. And, just not even a game to begin with. Because I'll tell you what, this is kind of part of the conversation we were having about in the first hour. If the second round is worse than the first round, this is the only series I have hope for right now.
As far as it being a competitive series?
And entertaining. Competitive and entertaining. I hear you on Cavs, Pistons.
Yeah, I think that could be really
Problem is Jim Harden.
Yeah. Well, I would argue he's what makes this competitive because he can dribble it down his leg and all of a sudden, whoa, what the hell just happened? So I want to see, we haven't really seen playoff Donovan in a little while.
No,
Mitchell.
the Spider.
And he's been one of the best playoff performers in his career.
Do you think
through his career he's been one of the best playoff performers?
Do you think Finch uses Ant Edwards again the same way, or do you think maybe he's a little healthier and can start? A pretty lethal combo having him come off the bench if Terrence Shannon, Naz Reid off the bench can have games like they did.
I don't. I'm not close enough to the Timberwolves, and I haven't hit up my guy Dane to see where Ant's at. He looked pretty good. I could see him starting. I'm not gonna surprise me, but I wonder if he does it one more time because you're playing with house money. You got one,
without a doubt.
You got one. Take care of it. Now the other side of that is maybe you do start him because you're like, oh, we are playing with house money. Let's go get this.
And that's the mentality I want to see. And Chris Finch, he strikes me as a guy that will do that because he sees blood in the water. Mm-hmm. The problem is I've just seen this story too often in the NBA. It's like, hey, we got one. Let's go home. Let's pack it in today. Let's nobody get hurt. Let's just rest up and get out of here.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more of How healthy is he? Because if you're going to win this series, you need Ant for the long haul.
Oh, if you want anything, you're going to need Ant.
Mm-hmm. So you got to do it the right way. So I think they'll keep him on the bench. I think keep him under 30. Now, if they start him, they could keep him under 30, but you might have a longer rest in there.
Over under 20 points for Victor Wembanyama.
I think he's going to go nuts tonight.
I think he will too.
I think he's going to go nuts tonight.
It's just about his post game comments. Like 12 blocks is dope, dude. But he said I put my energy in the wrong spots, and if he figures that out, that's the scary Wemby.
That's what I keep going back to. The Timberwolves played a really good game. The Spurs didn't. Spurs did not play. We talked about this, when you said, I think the Spurs have more leverage to pull against the Blazers, and I didn't think that was actually the case. I just didn't think the Blazers played all that well in some games. They just didn't hit shots. I think it's reversed here. I think the Spurs didn't play that well, and they were right there.
Buffalo, Montreal, first game of that series. That's at 4 o'clock. I might watch that instead of Knicks, Sixers.
Go Sabres and anyone else playing Montreal ever. God, I hate the Habs.
Anaheim and the Golden Knights are the night game. I'll probably tune into a little bit of that. Although if Anaheim has those orange jerseys.
You see an orange?
I'm just going to blow my brains out.
Yep.
I love that color. It's my favorite color, but I'm with Sukanik. He was talking about it the other day. Those jerseys are so atrocious. I can't handle it.
Lean into it.
Closing arguments brought to you by Leskin Law. Visit leskinlaw.com for more information. Leskin Law's one-day divorce mediation, peace treaties, not war plans. That's going to do it for us. Court case on Friday, 10 toes down on Thursday. For Danny Marang, that's Casey Smith. I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.
Bye.